settled, it was kind of crazy trying to figure out how to get this thing rolling.
Hey, I mean, the thing is, there's no craziness if something goes awry. That's the best part about it. Like, there's no editing that we do. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. So far, recording that.
Oh yeah, that was pretty crazy.
It's like 5 of them or something. Trying to sing a song and mess it up every time. There's not one good take, but they're all great. Like, they're great. They're just not there's not one flawless take. Whereas Casino did one, and all I gotta do is shorten the pauses and it's like flawless. We gotta do Casino. And then I found all the old ones. So I got some other stuff too that's not been used.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta get more of those from people. Maybe Grant Kirkhope. Craziness. I asked. Alright. Well, we got about a minute. And if this has been recording our audio, hello.
Yeah, seriously. Hi, guys. On accident.
Well, no, I don't know if it's recording them or not. Because remember,
I know,
it did music or something, like porn music.
Mm-hmm.
Frank's porn music. Start recording now. That way we can get our audio down. All I do in the editing of the audio, by the way, is I just mix it. Otherwise, it can get right up. We are ready to go. You guys ready?
I think.
We are live! Episode 103! It is video game bullshit. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Recovering still from MGC, but we'll get to that later.
And we got Eric here with us. Finally, you were hiding in the corner last recording.
Yes, I was, but I'm happy to finally get this thing rolling.
Exactly, and his camera looks way better than ours, so we're already gonna be upgrading our cameras. Mine's archaic and old, and Tristan, yours is an old one too, or?
Yeah, I think I'm shooting with a potato, so it's fine.
Shooting using a potato. It sounds about the most normal Tristan thing that I've ever heard. So we got the scrolling ticker going on YouTube, so everybody can follow along. We did hit anything new. We did hit 550 subscribers, so milestones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're stretching along. So what should we go for next? Go for 575?
I say let's go for 1 million.
Million subscribers, people. The thing is, though, is if
Get
you're
the gold play button, baby.
Yeah, but if everybody's watching along with us when you tune in, if you subscribe, it's gonna pop up over us. So it's going to be hilarious with Mouth Meat from Robot Named Fight going crazy. So definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel on this. And goes because it's much more funny. We are trying out a little bit later of a time. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because as I move cross country to Hawaii, it's going to be even later. So by the time I'm able to be off work, I'm going to have to record early Hawaii time. I'll be on the beach or something crazy. It'll be bright out, and you guys will be nighttime. It'd be hilarious.
It'll be some pretty late nights, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's worth it though.
It'll be great.
It'll be like a sleepover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got the whole night skyline behind you right now, Coffin.
I'd keep it classy.
Keeping it classy. Other than that, the only stuff that's not in the itinerary that's new, besides we're going to let Coffin introduce himself, is that the Complete NES Kickstarter is live. Over 200% funded, which means we've already hit a stretch goal, which is awesome. And so it's really awesome and surprising because it is the second printing of it. So it's kind of like a little definitive reprint. So it's really awesome. As we hit another stretch goal, if we do, it's just adding more quality upgrades. So make sure everybody share it, back it, support. We definitely appreciate it, and it'll help us grow.
Yeah, and it's for those slackers like me that missed it on the first go around. I didn't hear about your books until it was a little too late. Coffin here though, he's been following you guys from the beginning, so kudos to him.
OG.
Or with Jeff, like it was awesome that he had a book that could help me locate NES games, and then from there, I did some of the articles inside of his book for his Kickstarter and supporting him, and then it was really cool to meet him at Game On Expo and support him through all of his journey through his his books.
Well, actually, I think that's a pretty cool segue, Coffin, to you introducing yourself, because I want to hear this damn Game On Expo, because I heard some stories.
Oh no,
and we're bullshitting. So, and hello, I saw we have our first chatter coming in today. What's going on? But go ahead, Coffin. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we gotta go into some stories.
All right, my name's Eric Coffin. I've been collecting probably since 1999. I'm pretty much an old schooler, and where I would basically harass game stores a long time ago and try to get as much collections as I can. My goal was always to try to make a Blockbuster video. My mom used to take me there all the time, so I always used to go in Blockbusters and be like, how can anyone actually own all these games? And I was like, if I had enough money someday, I'm going to actually try it. And so what I would do is I would go back a generation, and I would collect say for example, like a Super Nintendo was out and being popular, I would go back and do Nintendo. And so I've been doing it for years. And then meeting people in the community, I met you like I said, I met you at Game On Expo. But beforehand, it was like we did like that Step Brothers thing. Like, did we just become best friends? Because when I went there, you were the only nicest person to me when I was there, and then you were so frustrated with me because I didn't bring. You're like, I could have brought your book to you. But you made it fun for me when I was there. I had some bad things happen there. I don't want to go into them. I love John, and it's not his fault. It was just a lot of craziness that happened when me and my wife went there. But I'm happy to be a part of this. It was cool to support you because I always like to support people in their goals. I do the same thing with a bar here, and I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
I mean, and Ibarra, Tristan, he had the man of a million nicknames from the last weekend. I'm sure we might go into the stories a little bit, but I still like the main one though. The main nickname, Saint Tristan of Ibarra.
Saint Tristan, yeah.
It's such a good one. Love it. That's so good. But yeah, like I want you to go into details, but it's okay if you don't want to throw out shade on people or whatever, because I know some people.
I don't feel like it's throwing shade though, because he dude, you should at least talk about like the celebrity that you met that you had like a bad experience with. That one, because you have a redemption arc. We can come back to it because we're going to be talking about this MGC, and your redemption arc gets completed.
Interesting.
Okay, so I'll tell you a funny story first. So I got in VIP to Game On Expo. That was the first attention. So I went in there. I walked around. I was just kind of like starstruck for a minute. I was like, wow, I see the Game Chasers, and I see Wood Hawker, and I see all these people, and I'm like, cool. I was like, I got to go to the bathroom really quick. So I went into the bathroom, and Ian from Pat and Ian was in there. So Ian was on to my left, and I was on like to the far right. We kind of left the middle open. So we're just going to the bathroom, and Jax came into the bathroom, and he screamed like, "Woo!" Yeah, for Mortal Kombat. And he screamed like, "Woo! I got to handle this monster immediately!"
Gotcha.
And he ran to the stall, and he put his hands on me and Ian, and then he went to the bathroom, and then he's like, "Woo! I'm glad I handled that monster," and he just walked out, and then it was completely silent, and so it was just me and Ian, and we just basically locked eyes with each other. We giggled, and then we just walked out. I was like, I just took a piss with Jax. That was awesome.
Wild. That's ridiculous. Oh, and by the way, I just realized that I still had my speaker going on my television, so I just moved it to my ear, so might be a little bit of feedback on the first 8 minutes, but that's okay. It'll be all right.
But the second incident that happened was just kind of craziness. The Mortal Kombat was the 25th anniversary, so I went up to get my signatures. I paid my money, and then there was a guy sitting there, and I paid the money to him, and I brought my Mortal Kombat over to it, and there was this whole deal where they were like, well, actually, you owe us money for each person, but I was like, well, they didn't really explain that. So I got kind of fired up about it and just kind of walked away. And so this whole rib was I had this interview with Johnny Cage, Master Pacina, and I would always joke around like I'm never playing Johnny Cage on the original Mortal Kombat machine, not doing it, and the bar had to hear this rib like forever. So then like when we went to MGC, we were in the booth area, and Abara was just giggling because every time Master Pacina would walk by me, I was like, I'm not going to say hi to him. I'm not going to do anything with him. Nothing with Johnny Cage. Nothing at all. And just joking around and stuff and just kind of keeping the rib going. And then finally, he was actually buying items for the autographs. And so I actually got a chance to talk to him. I told him the whole rib and joke about it. I told him that I've always been a big fan of his. And I just kind of like made amends with him and just said, hey, I just think you're really awesome. And Master Pacina, I'll say this honestly, he was very sweet to me. He said, who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character? He brought over Scorpion. He signed stuff for me. Very sweet across the board. He even helped me get some autographs from the NBA Jam guys, and he was nothing but professional. And I will say this live, I want to apologize to him. He is the sweetest person ever, and I'm so happy that I have the Johnny Cage Fatality autograph, and it's hanging up my wall now, and I'm really appreciative of what he did for me.
Yeah, he went from trying to Pacina 20s from you to that's what Kyle said back in the day. He's like, I got Pacina because he just wanted a signed picture, and Pacina got a selfie autograph with him, which turned out amazing, by the way, because we have it framed here at the house. But Johnny Cage is like the nicest freaking dude. Like Master Daniel Pacina, nicest dude you'll ever meet. Like him and I go back like way too long now, and we didn't get in any damn trouble this year, which is unfortunate. But we can talk that, and we can say as much shade as you guys want to, because I'll throw some shade out there. I am okay with that. Next on the agenda, as the scrolling ticker goes up, what has Jeff been up to? Oh my goodness. So the scroller ticker's still going, by the way. It's still going, even though I stopped it. I went all the way to Tristan. So what have I been up to? So did the MGC thing, right? And then we did Kyle's Memorial, which was nice. Did a nice closure. Linked up with Memblers. Memblers, for those of you that don't know that are listening, he is the godfather, the creator, I would say the father of NES Homebrew. He's the guy who created it. He's the guy that reversed engineered the NES back in the 90s and made everything that we have with emulation and everything possible. That dude and Kyle would go back, many, many years at MGC. There was a meme that I saw that Membler sent that said, are you a bad enough dude to get your vape back from Memblers? Because he took Kyle's vape pen. It was like hilarious. But anyways, we did a nice memorial. We had a church memorial for Kyle's mom, where I spoke, and our buddy John spoke, and my wife spoke. Nobody else, though, which was very interesting. But we did. And then we went to the gravesite, and we all buried giant battle swords into his grave, which he had requested, if anything ever happened to him, that we had to play Don't Follow from Alice in Chains. So we did that. We did the whole swords. It was really nice. By the way, drinking tequila the whole time. Definitely needed. Had a little bit of tequila tonight, too, just to prep. And then after that, we went to Casa del Mar, which was Kyle and I's MGC stomping grounds. The day before MGC, Kyle and I would go there and drink pitchers of margaritas. And so we got pitchers of margaritas. We got his queso fundido. And then we all told stories. So we had a bunch of people, their friends and family, sitting around a long table, Jim Morrison style. and we did a Feast of Friends, and that was my wife's idea. Really awesome idea. So it was a fitting, cool closure representative of Kyle. During that week, though, I also packed up the entire house, got that all into storage. The coolest part of the story, and I don't think I told you guys about this. So my wife picked a storage unit, right? And I was just like, we need a nice, secure one. She ended up picking this place on Route 30 and 41 near the corner. Ironically, she didn't know this, but she picked the parking lot area where they had the trains for Kittyland that we went to as kids. This was like a little Northwest Indiana park, like tiny kids park. Like, it was an awesome thing. But it's like literally where we went is where Kyle's stuff is right now. And like right behind us is this big field that was empty where they had all the rides. And I'm like, we have Kyle's stuff in Kittyland. It couldn't have been more perfect. Like, the stars aligned. Really, really cool. Really representative of who he was. And of course he'll be missed. But he wanted us to continue on with video game bullshit. Happy to have you guys on. It's gonna be badass times. And then after that, I went to my in-laws and finally got my Hacienda margarita flights because there's a lot of tequila this weekend. It was a fun time. And then drove all the way back here. And now I'm getting the house ready for me. So, it was a rough week. I know I was a little bit off at MGC as well because I was, prepping for the whole week of insanity.
Dealing with all that stuff. Sure.
But yeah, now that I was able to, because I wanted to do right by Kyle. That was my main, why I was, concerned. And so I feel like we did as good as we possibly could. Now all the collection will be in storage for the next few years while I'm in Hawaii. When I get done with Hawaii, we're going to move it all, and then we're going to open up Unky Kyle's Retroseum. It's retroseum.com, unkykyles.com, HagensAlley.com. It's going to all go to the same website. I already started working on the website, but we will initiate it. But that'll be after we have the collector community be aware of what actually is there after we categorize and go through and catalog everything. So everybody will have first dibs, for example, which would be really nice. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of all I've been up to right now. We talked about it because I'm still military. I haven't retired yet. Had to take a PT test this morning, so yeah. Still crushed it. Because, yeah. Not retired yet. Not retired yet. I will be soon. Very soon. Yep. But yeah, I think you're up, Tris.
Oh, let's see. Well, mine's going to be a lot shorter than yours.
You've been going crazy, dude.
Yeah, I've been going crazy, but it's been kind of like a one-note thing, though. Lately, and we're gonna get to this too. Like I've been, we have a normal guy with Premium Edition that does our editing for our directs and any of our basically press conferences that we put on YouTube to clue you guys in on what's next for Premium. I'm really the only. I don't know if I'm the only other person on the team that can do video editing. But basically, it fell onto me to do the direct, and of course, I'm happy to do it. It's just the time is the problem. I don't have a whole lot of time to do this kind of stuff because, just like Jeff, I have a day job. Just like Coffin, I have a day job.
Got a job.
We've got adult stuff to take care of.
Saint Tristan of Ibarra came out.
I managed to get it done though, and I'm actually proud of how it turned out. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We'll get to that, a little bit more in detail later.
I got a little bit of a teaser already, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I just uploaded it right before we went live here. And full disclosure, it would have been live about an hour or uploaded about an hour earlier, but I fell asleep on my couch over there. I didn't mean to, and thank goodness my wife woke me up because I might have slept through this podcast. I am so exhausted. I'm still narcoleptic, and I'm getting through all this medication. They put me on one thing, which I tried for 4 days. And it turned out that it gave me blurry vision. Like I sat down at my computer one time, and I'm like, "Holy crap, I can't read." So they stopped me from taking that. Obviously, they put me on Adderall. It had no effect. They doubled the dose. It had no effect. And then I told them about that. They're like, "Okay, stop doing that." I'm like, "Well, what do I do in the meantime?" They're like, sorry, you got to go to a neurologist. So I have to wait about a month and a half before I can, figure out what's going on with me. So hopefully I don't fall asleep at the wheel. Yeah, it's not a good situation.
I can 100% understand though why you'd have been tired though, because you've been like concentrating on getting this editing done, and
Sure, yeah.
Some jerks. This guy didn't record till like yesterday.
No.
I was like traveling, and I like messaged you guys. I'm like, I just got home. If I don't hit me up now, I'm gonna pass out, and I passed out. Like,
oh, for real, man.
Like,
I mean, yeah, we've just been going nonstop, and like recovering from that con. Like, it's exhausting. It's a couple of days, but it's nonstop, and
it was.
You really don't know how exhausting it is until you go through one of those, and especially if you're a vendor and have to do that sort of thing and set up and tear down. So besides recovering from MGC, there was really only one other thing that is worth noting, and Coffin was there for it. He actually, I asked him if he would come over and help me move an exercise bike upstairs, and it was still in the box. I didn't know, so I have 4 cats. I'm a cat dad.
Cat
2
daddy.
younger ones, 2 older ones. But the 2 younger ones were upstairs on the landing.
Uh-oh.
And I didn't know that. Well, when we were bringing up the box, we spooked them both to the point where they were like just freaked out and trying to get out of there. One of them jumped off of the landing, like about 15 feet down to the floor, and he's a 16-pound cat. So he didn't land gracefully. He broke a canine and ended up bruising his lungs. We took him to the emergency vet, of course. Had him stay overnight for observation just to make sure that he was okay. That was about $1,400 bill, but he's doing good. I'm glad.
Holy
it was worth
cow.
it. Yeah.
Coffin scared him.
I know, Coffin with that. No, he felt so bad. But
so basically, what happened was,
it's no one's fault.
So what happened was, I was going up the stairs. I had the bike in my hand, and the cat. He had 3 little spots where the cat's like can sleep in. He was in the middle, and he popped out. And I was trying to be like a cop and try to negotiate, like with the cat, like no, don't jump, please don't jump. Please don't jump. And so then at first he calmed down, and then when I went to try to move the box over to the far left away from him, he just went right through the middle, and he like spreaded his hands out like real far, and all I could do was just watch him hit. And I was like, oh my god, I was like, I hope this cat is not dead. And I felt so bad because I tried to stop from happening, but there was like no chance of it like stopping. He went because he contemplated like going through the rails. Like he went forward, looked. He's like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it." And then the second time, he's like, "Oh, I'm gone," and just jumped. It was pretty scary.
And that particular cat, his name is Koopa Troopa. Well, that day he graduated to Koopa Paratroopa, so I've changed his name.
We got a poor Bowser in the chat, but it was the Paratroopa.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't Bowser. Bowser's one of the older guys, and I don't think he would have survived that fall.
Bowser ain't jumping for nothing.
No.
Craziness. We can transition over to bullshit news. I think a couple of things I shot over to you we're gonna cover separately from the main news. The only main thing that I've seen that piqued my interest this week so far, there are 2 things. But one of them, have you guys seen the HD texture packs in Messin, the emulator, the NES emulator?
No.
So apparently this is a thing. There was this YouTube channel, Sitka or something like that, with a 1 in the name. He did some kind of channel reveal, but he showed like Zelda 2, and it looked like Super Nintendo.
Whoa.
And Ninja Gaiden looked amazing, and Mega Man, and with all these amazing backgrounds. And he's like, this is not Super Nintendo. This is running on NES hardware with upgraded textures. It's kind of like you would put textures on a PC game. And Messin apparently does this. So
I just saw that before YouTube started, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then I've seen them do so many crazy things with the emulators, like especially the 3D ones where you can kind of go sideways on them and get it all in 3D. And then the virtual reality, like they had Contra that you could actually play in virtual reality, which was freaking awesome. I saw that earlier, and it like blew my mind. I was like, wow, that does really look like a 16-bit game. And I'm hoping that maybe sometime down the road they can make some carts for those games, which would be awesome.
Well, if it can play on actual hardware, I know the emulator, it won't work on the hardware. However, I bet there's a way to get that to work on a Steam Deck or something, so that way you can at least play it with that emulator on the Steam Deck. I think that'll be an option. Getting on an actual cartridge, though, it would probably require some hardware mods. If only I knew the guy who reverse engineered the Nintendo. Maybe I'll give Memblers a challenge and be like, "Hey, dude, can you get this to work?" I figured it out.
I actually know that can be done because you know how like they're like the joke is, can it play Doom? Well, I've got an NES cart for Ultimate Doom that a modder buddy of mine built for me, but it's got a Retro Pi inside the cartridge, but it actually runs on the actual hardware, so it's possible.
Yeah, just figuring out how to get whatever the texture readings are to work on the hardware and all that. That would be ridiculous, though. Truly, like NES 2 at that point. Like that's for real. Is there anything else in the news that we're not going to cover separately? Because there's the couple of premium news that we're going to talk about. What else is going on?
There was only one thing that it kind of happened in the last couple of weeks. I don't remember exactly what day, but it's since our last podcast. Yeah. E3 was canceled.
E3 was canceled. That was while we were at MGC.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of bummed because like E3 was one of those things that like I looked forward to every year. It's I kind of like it or liken it to the home run derby, like the baseball home run derby. I look forward to it and I get so excited for it, and then whenever I watch it, I'm just disappointed. But every year I get so hyped up for it. E3 used to be like our Christmas. Like
it was.
Oh my gosh, what's next? But now we're just inundated with so much information all the time. E3 kind of lost its luster. Nintendo's got their directs. PlayStation's got their state of PlayStation. So E3 kind of lost its purpose.
And
I'll say honestly, with mine was like it's like a rivalry because you get to see who. It's kind of like I watch football. I'm a big Washington fan. You have Dallas Cowboys and Eagles, and you would just sit there and watch all three, and basically everyone would talk about who won the E3, who was having the best E3 that year. Yeah. And you also get excited because you also knew that either it was new games or surprise consoles getting dropped at the same time. So you got to see that live, which was amazing. I think Nintendo kind of everyone does what Nintendo does. So they did the direct and they're like, wow, you know what? I can save all this money and I can take that away from, me having to do all these things for E3, all the logistics work and all those things like that. And so then, Sony's like, well, that's a genius idea. And they all followed it. And I think Nintendo honestly took down E3 based on their directs.
I think you're absolutely right.
And don't forget, too, that other, industry shows popped up that took what E3 should have turned into, which is essentially PAX. When PAX came up and GDC popped up, you have your game developers doing these massive conventions where they're showing off their new games. Why would you go to E3 and go across the street in a parking lot to show off your stuff because you can't afford to be in the main area? Because that's what E3 needed to evolve into when the internet pops up and all the main companies are just doing their own thing because it's much more impactful.
Like your premium edition games, for example, I think what they should have done is they should have went to the indies and had the indies show their release releases on E3 instead of going to the big companies like Microsoft and all them. Kind of downgrade a little bit. Let the indie developers show off their games and promote their games, and they probably would have been able to stay in business.
Yeah, I mean it's lack of support is basically what it was, because I know some of our team members like Scott was looking for premium, was looking to go get a pass just to go walk around and do a little bit of schmoozing, and that's all he was gonna do because it ain't worth us going to set up there. And so it's but that's what it turned into. It's like, meh. In the
Well,
end,
I can't
though,
even imagine how much it would have cost for us to set up there. Like,
wouldn't have done it.
it's probably part of the problem. Like E3 is they were in business to make money. They're not doing it just out of the kindness of their heart.
No. No.
So Nintendo at some point, just like Coffin alluded to, they're like, why are we doing this if we can just do it on our own?
That was the one bubble that did pop already.
Also COVID too, because the fact is they realized that they could do it at home. Because if you think about it, like the NFL draft and all these things that people were doing, they were doing videos from home, and they're like, well, we can do it right at our headquarters. We just hire the people that we need to do and then promote our games that way. And what happens all the time as soon as Nintendo Direct drops, it immediately goes crazy on Facebook and all social media outlets. So everyone's like, well, we don't have to do this anymore. We can just do it from our own headquarters and promote our own games.
With good production and everything. Yep, 100% right. Like,
yeah, the COVID angle is something I didn't even think about. Like, there are a lot of industries. I mean, like, dude, business, people working from home. It was unheard of at the time, but COVID kind of like it was born out of necessity, and now all these people realize that they can do it this way, and they don't have to occupy all these like expensive office spaces. And there's really no going back from that after you realize that you don't have to pour in all this money to occupy a physical space when everyone's online anyway.
Kind of a necessary transition that happened faster than it was going to naturally. Pretty awesome, actually. Really interesting. Yeah. There was one other thing in the news that I saw. I think it popped yesterday. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has a wall scroll from Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was sold out by the time I saw it, but looked cool. I thought it says golden wall scroll, even though the picture didn't look gold. It was gold colored, but it didn't look like it was shiny. If that thing is shiny, I will probably buy it from a scalper or something because I missed out.
Yeah.
There's also that wall art thing that GameStop's doing as well. They're doing their own exclusive as well, and I think all stores are doing like their own little exclusives for it.
I don't think I've even pre-ordered the game yet. I pre-ordered the Switch. I didn't pre-order the game because we had alluded to it in the last recording that my Metroid Prime remaster may look muddy because I don't have an OLED. Well, pulled the trigger and I was able to get the Zelda Switch, which I get all the Zelda consoles usually when they come out. So that's like on brand for me. Take it with me to Hawaii. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
With that wall scroll, I was actually wondering like what sort of because it's a giveaway by Walmart. How good a quality could it be? But then whenever they said it's gold, I'm wondering like are they using gold thread in this thing or? I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
Don't know. I did think it looked pretty rad. That's for sure.
You remember the mug I got for Metroid Dread that I showed you, Amara? The one that I had to hunt down for. And I got my Metroid Dread mug, which is awesome.
I haven't heard of that one. Now, one of the random things that I got in the mail, I finally got in my copy of Kirby, the new Kirby game, and it had like these pin stickers taped to the front, like a pre-order bonus. So I don't know what that came with. Like it's actually right here. But like this little pin sticker thing. It's called a paper clip, but it's cardboard. It's definitely cardboard.
Oh.
So I don't know, but it's just like taped to the front of it, and I got it from PlayAsia or East Asia Soft or whatever the website is. PlayAsia.
Jeff, you say the new Kirby game. Which of the 25 that Nintendo put out last week?
Well, Return to Dreamland Deluxe that I finally got in.
Okay.
Number 14. Number 14. One other thing I didn't show off, I don't know, I think I've showed it to you, Tristan, is this thing, which is my awesome Premium Edition Games wooden book that I got done, where it opens up and it has game cases and games, and I have our first 10 on the side, so I'm just going to fill it out as we release games. I got some of the other new stuff.
Yeah, dude.
It is awesome. It has a magnet binding in it. It makes a nice little noise when you shut it. It holds a crap ton of games. And it has a wooden hinge when it opens.
That is so sick, dude.
It was not that expensive, too. It was like, 20, 40, 80, I don't know. Now, I think it was like $40. Like, super freaking cool. And you can put whatever you want.
That's crazy, man.
Of course, I'm going to put premium
You have the coolest... You have the coolest custom stuff made, man.
I just find random shit, and I'm like, oh, this will be cool. I got one that's like a pinball machine. I can play pinball on the Switch. Like, it's random stuff that I have. Random stuff, man. I just see cool stuff, and I'm like, oh, this might be awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at getting a light box made for a custom marquee that my wife may have taken from an MGC talk we'll do later.
May have?
May have. I have to send a message and be like, yeah, my wife swiped it. I thought she would.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's up next on the bullshit news tally?
I got one more thing, and I'll turn it over to Coffin. I just got these in the mail the other day, and I mean, why not rep Premium Edition at the same time? I may or may not have gone a little crazy and ordered a bunch of copies of Rack and Ruin.
What the heck?
You can see here. Little blurry on my camera, but I think you can see I've got quite a few copies of that. I know. Sorry. I'll fix that next week. Apparently Coffin cracked the code, and well, now we know that it's my camera that's the problem. It's not the internet.
Yeah. And
I got one thing for the news for you guys that I want to bring up to you that no one's really aware of, and it's been kind of put under the radar. On the Resident Evil 4 remake, Capcom snuck in microtransactions. There's tickets on there now where you can upgrade your guns to the best potential you can on the game. And so they're charging people to get these tickets to upgrade their weapons faster.
It'll win.
Why?
Oh boy.
People are just lazy. Like, they always just do that crap.
Are you sure Konami didn't do that? Sounds like a very Konami thing to do.
Sounds like a very Capnami. Capnamis. Like, crazy stuff, man. Yeah, no to microtransactions. Always no. Craziness. So, I was scrolling, and something popped up in the next thing on the topic board. It says Poglings.
Yes. What's Poglings, Jeff?
Poglings. So, Poglings is a game that Premium Edition Games is working on. Essentially, Chad Tronic from YouTube has been working on a game for 5 years and reached out to us, and we were doing the physical version of his basically tributes to the Chow Garden of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. The Chow Garden thing. However, it's like we played the game, the initial demo or whatever, and we were like, oh my god, this looks like perfect. This looks exactly like we wanted it to on, like for a brand new game. It's made in Unreal. He's still working on a lot of the little nuances in it because he's adding tons and tons and tons of stretch goals. The Kickstarter went live today, and it's already, and I want to say maybe it's been up not even 12 hours, and it's already like crushed almost every stretch goal. They've had to create new ones. The the latest one, which he even kept from us, is that Grant Kirkhope is doing a song for the game. Grant Kirkhope created did music for Banjo-Kazooie, did music for Conker, did the DK rap, like guy's a legend, and so he's gonna be doing a song for Poglins, which is cool. There's a ton of stuff to this game though, because you can like hatch different Poglins and evolve them, and then you can like race them and do interactions and different other things with NPCs that have different missions, and it's a whole interactive adventure game. It's gonna be ridiculous, man.
I just checked the Poglins Kickstarter page. They just cracked $140,000. They're almost at 2,200 backers, and it's been what, like 9-10 hours, something like some ridiculously little number like that. Like, holy crap!
And it's like amazing to be associated. There's so much cool stuff that we're doing. It will be Premium Edition's first plushie that we're working on with Chad. Chad is doing a lot of quality control with us too when it comes to all these items. So it will be at raising the bar to another level of what we do. So the quality is just going to be through the roof on every nuance. Because we're going on the size of the fins on the plushie and making sure everything that we had was perfect, because we didn't just make a 3D render. Like, we actually had pictures of the real thing on the Kickstarter. So really cool to be involved with it. And I think that game's gonna be killer. Game's gonna be ridiculous. Am I missing anything on Poglins? What do you, Coffin, what do you think about Poglins when you saw it, man?
I immediately thought of Sonic Adventure. I'm a big fan of that series on the Dreamcast, and so when I used to play Dreamcast, that's...
Huh.
Oh, did we lose him?
He just paused on us.
Yeah, he did.
He was talking about Dreamcast, and he went bloop. Yep.
So yeah.
So definitely reminiscent of Sonic Adventure.
Basically what I now, the era of Dreamcast, and they're also into, like PS2 and GameCube kind of era games, so I think this is a perfect time to drop it for you guys.
Very interesting that you just cut out there too, Coffin.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
You're
we're
good.
Now we just missed about 10 seconds about after you started.
Okay, so I apologize.
You're good.
So basically, I say I like Sonic Adventure. I love the series for Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. It's my favorite Sonic game of all time. I also like the way they had those type of gameplay within Sonic Adventure. So I said it was awesome that they're able to release it at the perfect time, because this generation kind of grew up in that Dreamcast era. So I think it's going to be definitely beneficial that everyone's going to get excited about it.
That's actually a perfect example. I mean, like, perfect point, because right now, we've been talking about, like, as collectors, what's hot at the moment. Yeah, now the kids who grew up playing the Dreamcast and the GameCube, they're in the workforce now with some expendable income. So the GameCube and Dreamcast in that generation are starting to explode in price. So right now, yeah, perfect time for Poglins to come out, because that generation is going to be able to buy this.
Yeah, it's like a perfect storm. I'm 99.9% sure that that's exactly why Chad made the game, or wanted to work with the team who's making the game, because like that's what drove him as a kid growing up too. And that's like high school time for me, and I loved Sonic Adventure, the original. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, dude.
It's so good. And I never did take the little, VMU around and raise my Chow. But I did play it. I played the Chow Garden, though, in the game, for sure. But I did raise some damn chocobos in Final Fantasy VII. I got that golden chocobo. I did all that shit.
Same thing.
Yeah. Maybe I was just too burnt out on the joke.
Funny story is, like, I went from basic and I went to the first BX, and I actually, like, that's the first thing I bought with the money that I got from basic was a Dreamcast. I bought a Dreamcast and basically every game that got released for the Dreamcast at the time. I wanted to play Resident Evil, of course, but Sonic Adventure was like #1 on my books.
Had that brand new military money to make it rain Dreamcast stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I remember buying Shenmue in tech school for Dreamcast.
Wow, guys, it's insanity. Yeah, I was in college with a lot of the later games coming out for the Dreamcast. I even got a copy of Sports Jam when it came out. Like, and nobody knows about Sports Jam.
I remember Sports
That was an
Jam.
obscure one. It's worth some monies now.
Sports Jam is awesome.
Yeah, it's fun as hell. But should we transition to the next piece? The next piece.
Yeah, sure.
Something that's going on tomorrow that Tristan has been working on, and it is
God.
our Premium Direct. And so,
Yes.
the Premium Direct is coming up very, very soon. Got some awesome announcements. There will be some talk on Poglings that we just mentioned as well, which is going to be amazing. It's a Switch focused though. Switch focused. So, going to be talking about our newest games, updates on current stuff, very quick. But then we're going to get into the new stuff that's coming out for us this spring and through the summer. What else you got, Tristan?
What was that?
What else do you got, Tristan?
What else do I have?
Throw it to you, man. You're like that's where...
I'm sorry. I'm like so out of it because I've been staring at my video editing software for like hours upon hours straight. Just, oh my God. I'm probably going to be like video editing in my sleep.
Master.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously without giving anything away, yeah, it's like he said, focused on the Switch. We have a couple surprises in there. We always do. Come on.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, I'm part of Premium Edition. I work on the games, I test the games, but there's always some surprises for me too, as far as like little details in there that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And that was no different this time editing this stuff. Like, I found out from the script on a couple pieces of news, so it was news to me too.
Well, one thing that we were talking about at MGC, it's not just all Switch. There's also a retro game that we're releasing.
Yes.
So, we've released retro games in the past, so, it's not a surprise that we do retro. But we will be announcing our next retro game. So that'll be really cool. And that's an awesome one, too. Like, everything that we have.
It's super cool. Oh,
Dude,
my gosh, I can't wait to play that one.
I would say, like, every announcement from here on out is, like, awesome. Like, for the rest of the time, we're premium. Like, it's always awesome. But it's like
Dude,
it's...
every single one of them in that direct is a banger. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm looking forward to every single one of the ones that we're announcing. Cannot wait to have them on my shelf, open them up and play them. They're gonna be super fun.
I mean, the thing is, we kind of alluded to it online when people are asking, but we will be taking a pause on announcements at least until like the fall time frame, so that way we can get games in people's hands. So like, we want to make sure we get Raji and Baby Pixels and Love 3 and Eagle Island Twist shipped out and in people's hands. That's my focus over the next few weeks. I'm also moving, so it's gonna be a good time to not be like announcing new stuff as I'm moving. And we got to get this newer announcements done, the PlayStation done. So we got a lot of moving pieces. But I will tell you, and we can kind of make Coffin excited. The fall one's gonna be insane.
I'm really excited for the PlayStation. The PlayStation is like my favorite, so to have you guys on there, especially with the cool things you guys are going to be doing for those PlayStation releases, I'm really excited about it. And I also like the retro stuff too, so I'm also pretty excited about that. So I can't wait to check it out tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a wild time, and yeah, we're working with Sony right now to get all that stuff. That's going to be a fun one. And yeah, it's just the directs are a cool thing. They do take a lot of time though, so I've been trying to convince the team. Oh, let's just do like trailer drops. Everyone's like, no, we gotta do, we gotta do the direct, and I'm like, okay, I'll record.
Yeah, I mean, as dude, coming from me, who just put on all these hours doing the editing for the direct, I honestly think that it's worth it because it's a part of who we are as a brand. We're known for doing these directs. We have fun with it, and I love that you guys get the entire team involved too. It's actually fun to sit there and record.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we're doing the team. I also love that Barry on our team is interacting and getting all the developers involved. So that way they can talk about like what if it's cool that they're doing the physical or a little bit more insight into the game or the processes or all that stuff. Like it's always cool hearing from all the devs because
that's super cool.
It's one of those things that we hear time in and time out with Premium is that we're unlike any other company that people are used to dealing with because like the passion that we have for it. It's going to be up to me and our team to keep that magic, that passion going so it doesn't fizzle out. That's why it's like, oh, we could sign 50 games a year and release a game a week or whatever. Really easy to do something like that. But if we take a step back, we could really do it right, really get the stuff out there. And we're about to talk about it as we transition over to the main topic. It's really cool seeing people's reactions to the stuff that we do have out and the stuff that we have released. And breathing new life into those games as well. So, it's an interesting, diatribe with Premium as we continue. The directs, we're still going to have lots of new stuff. I jokingly say we probably have enough games signed to go to 2026. Maybe. However, you never know when something like a Poglings is going to present itself, and we
yeah. You're never gonna say no to Poglings.
It's why we are always going to go a little slower than everyone else because if we get an opportunity to work on something amazing, we can put it in there with no stress to the team.
Yeah, and you kind of hit it on the head whenever you said. About our premium directs and taking it slow. It's part of who we are and what sets us apart from other companies, other unnamed companies that maybe do a little too much, arguably, whatever. But that's who they are. That's just not who we are. And I don't know, like I came on a little bit further on in this premium edition experiment, but I don't know if you had this in mind from the beginning, but I think we've fallen into a really good place where we have a good reputation, we have a good flow of like how things work. People really do enjoy that we put the passion first for these games, and the developers get the due recognition and attention that they deserve that we wouldn't be able to give them otherwise if we were doing too much.
The one thing that I don't ever want is for a developer to feel like their game's like a number or it's just the next release. Like I want it to be all right, we're doing the Poglings launch today and it's all
dude, it's crazy because with other companies, that I used to admittedly buy every release, you can't keep up, dude. I don't know how anyone can.
It's impossible. It becomes, different. And reality is that and I appreciate you saying we're in like a good, routine. One thing that I've been working on this year is just getting nice standardization of efforts so that way things flow. The flow this year, because if I notice, okay, this is moving a little too quickly, let's pause, slow things down, give ourselves plenty of time to breathe. We got a couple new team members on to help spread some of the different pieces, which is nice. But the thing is we're gonna survive if we decide we want to be the hipster artists. because we're always gonna make cool stuff. Like, I mean, heck, like we could make whatever for whatever, not even video games. Like, and we can make the coolest stuff ever. And so the fact is we're all gamers. So, and Nintendo fans and Sony fans and we have Microsoft fans too. And it's like we're going to stick within our favorite hobbies. But like, if all those other companies up and close because they can't afford to do whatever because they're going crazy and ham, or Nintendo decides they want to change things and they're only gonna allow certain amounts of whatever, we're still fine. We move slow. We can still go. Like,
exactly. In premium edition, we haven't pigeonholed ourselves to just do one thing in particular. Like you said, we can do whatever we want. We can make whatever the fuck we want. Oops. Anyway.
Hey, we're video game bullshit. Feel free.
I'm just saying. But like, dude, like, just look at, if you can see Coffin's game room, it's filled with just amazing memorabilia. All
His
this cool
skyscrapers
shit
behind him, filled with games. I see it behind him.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, those are filled with games. No, his actual game room, if you could see it, it's filled with all this cool stuff. And like, premium, we're about making all that cool stuff to fill your game room with.
Two things that I'll say honestly, and I've talked to Amara about this. Like currently, right now, if you go to your local Target, you go to your local places, it seems like physical games are going away. It just seems like they're disappearing off the face of the planet.
Yep.
And what's crazy about the whole your guys' business, which I think is awesome, is that you give people opportunities that would never have a chance to actually make a physical release for a game. There are other companies that just kind of go way too crazy with it and kind of get too much flood in the market with it, but the ones you guys release, every game that I've gotten so far, I've absolutely loved. I tell him all the time that I'm basically obsessed with Rain on Your Parade. I cannot stop playing that game. I'm basically addicted to it. So
game's ridiculous.
You guys are doing awesome stuff, and it was really cool to see. When we, not to go into MGC, but to see everyone so excited to come to your guys' booth and get your new releases, and just excited to be part of your guys' community that you guys create. You guys have been doing an awesome job.
Well, I'll just click the button. We transitioned to MGC.
Yeah, that's a great transition. That was perfect, Coffin. Dang, man, it's like it was rehearsed.
That was rehearsed. No, I mean, the thing is, though, it's something like an MGC or any of the gaming conventions. It's a little bit of validation, seeing that what we're doing, people are appreciative. I always say that, when I started making books, I was like, if a couple people dig what I'm doing, I'll do it forever, because it's really cool that somebody is enjoying something I'm creating. That's like the best thing, and now it's like we're able to do that on a huge scale. And one thing is, we do learn too. So like, there's certain stuff where a sticker sheet is way too damn big for the box, and we had to put it in, folded in Random Prairie Wonderling, and I hated that. And it's like, do we delay the game for 6 months so we can get them to fix all this stuff because their shipping was so damn slow? Or do we get it out to people and then just take the hit on, like, we don't like stickers. I don't like to do stickers. Like, it's some of those things where we make decisions. In hindsight, it'd be great to just have it right. However, people want their games and we don't want them to wait a year. So it's those type of things. But we do learn, and I don't like to do what I call tchotchkes, like garbage stuff that you're not going to actually have some kind of use. One thing, though, that everybody did love, the damn pin from Rain on Your Parade, that sun pin. Oh, yeah. Everybody talked about that. Like, they love that damn pin. So it's the designs on the pins. If we make them wacky and cool, like, people are going to dig it. And they're huge, so... MGC, Midwest Gaming Classic 2023.
Woo! Man.
Let's do day by day, so we could go real crazy. And I started a day before y'all, so that'll be fun. So Midwest Gaming Classic is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, ran by Dan Lucen, and I've been going there apparently for about 11 or 12 years at this point, which is insane.
Crazy.
really crazy. I've been a guest there for over 10. That's when I had my first book. This time, Premium was a sponsor. We had a convention exclusive game, which was Cathedral. There was an MGC exclusive. If you missed the Cathedral MGC exclusive, Dan Lucen, who runs it, he did say that there will be copies available online this year. Last year they were not. This year they'll be available online. So that'll be a good opportunity for those people, because I know there was a huge scalping market last year, and Dan knew that, so he got extra copies to allow to avoid people doing that. With that version, it has a unique slip case for Cathedral. It's actually the B-side of Paul Niemeyer, the Mortal Kombat artist art, where it's a more zoomed in version of the character. Looks really, really cool. Has MGC on the back with the dates and everything. They're numbered. It comes with a flask that's called a health potion, and it has art on it, which is cool. There's 4 different colors of the health potions. And I didn't even know this till I got there, that he did, for all the games, he did special MGC coins. So there's a Cathedral coin with the art printed on MGC on the other side. I didn't even know they were doing that. I got 2 copies for the developer. I didn't let him know that they had coins, so he's gonna get special coins in the mail too when I send it to him. So he's gonna get a surprise. But really cool release. That is where Coffin and Tristan, the rabbit hole for Premium, is gonna be a little crazy. Because if you want to be a completionist collector to get every single item and piece that we've done, I don't even have all the colors of all the flasks. You know what I mean? Like, there's some deep rabbit holes that I know collectors will go to when they want to collect every little instance and piece. And I want at least one item of everything we do for archival purposes. That's one thing as a company that people don't do right, is archiving things. So I've archived almost everything we've done. Even got the damn wristbands that don't even have, like, that are crazy. That we were making a joke that don't have our website on them. But classic wristbands. It's one of those things where that rabbit hole goes super deep. But
sure does.
that MGC thing was cool. So this year, usually on Thursday, I mentioned it earlier, I would go to like Kyle's house and we would drive up on Friday. This year, because of circumstances, I flew in on Thursday. And so I flew in super, super early in the morning, landed around 10-ish. And then as I get off of, because I had like one connection in Charlotte, and then I went from Charlotte to Milwaukee. As I get into Milwaukee, I walk off the plane, I look over at a coffee place, and I'm like, that's Ryan on our team, sitting right there. Just got in. It's like Ryan is sitting at the airport. So Ryan and I linked up. We got up with my nephew, Mikey, and we all went out to lunch at a like brewery place. It was pretty cool. And then we finally linked up. Scott got in, which is another team member, and we both got in, and then went over to the hotel, chatting with John Riggs from YouTube's, which is pretty cool. Just hanging out with people that we know. That's one of the cool things of MGC. Then after that, they finally started to open the Then they finally decided to open our room so we could check into our room. Got a little bit of alcohol because tequila weekend. It was tequila week. Every day's tequila day. We did that, and then we all linked up for dinner. We went to this little Miller Time pub thing, and we went to dinner. By the end of the day, or night, we linked up with one of our team members, Joe. Glass Joe's what we called him after this night, because he got so hammered, he looked like Glass Joe from Punch-Out while he's sitting there holding the button playing Mario Kart with Ryan, which he looked ridiculous. It was so funny. So funny. And that's the Thursday before the convention. Couldn't go into the convention and set up or anything. And we had a good time. hung out, and that was the Thursday. Fast forward to Friday, and around noon-ish, they allowed us to go in there and set up. We linked up with Josh and Sheena on our team, and we started unloading all the premium stuff. Around that same time was about what time you guys got in, right?
That's right.
And so I will pivot over to you guys. And so
yeah, we wanted to get there. I mean, like, so both of us, we have this problem where we don't have a whole lot of leave to give.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to get there on Thursday, but circumstances being what they were, couldn't leave till Friday. But we left early. We drove from Papillion, Nebraska, which is right outside of Omaha. It's about a 7-hour drive up to Milwaukee. So with stops, we're looking at 7.5 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
It was great though. I mean, like, driving up by myself, and especially after being diagnosed with narcolepsy, probably isn't the greatest idea at the wee morning hours. But having someone next to me on the drive totally helped. But yeah, we got in around 1 o'clock, I want to say. So it was right after you guys were able to start setting up. But we dropped off our bags and immediately went to the hall, got our badges, and started helping you guys set up.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever actually seen a setup process like that, especially with Gamers for Gamers. Holy hell, they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like Josh and Sheena and our team, they don't mess around. They've been doing conventions for 10 years.
Playing.
They've been doing conventions for 10 years. We all realize that we don't want to have a setup that big ever. Like we like having our games on the table. Like have some trailers playing. Maybe we'll have a Switch out or something unlock. But that's it, man.
Dude, they freaking build and tear down a fortress every single convention.
That is insane. And the thing is that this convention was really cool because we had basically 3.5 tables. Like we had a whole corner that we shared. They shared a whole giant booth with Mega Cat Studios, which they only sent a game developer. So we got to hang out with the game developer all weekend. But so we are able to spread out and have each one of our titles with standards and retros shown off with items out. And it allowed it to breathe a little bit because if we have 2 tables, everything is crunched.
Yeah, big time.
Having that third table, we were able to have the books out. Technically, we had 4 tables because we brought our own table as well.
Yeah, and this was the first time that we had as many games as we did. We had 10 games.
10.
Both retro and standard, on the table, plus some deluxes. So we had a lot of stuff to sell.
It's one of those things
and your books.
and the books take up a space, man. I used to be able to fill 2 tables with my books, and in reality, I just brought my Switch books. We brought Tristan's book, and then we had a copy of Punch Out. I had some of my older ones I just put in a stack and those sold. I just put them in a stack because if I have so many books I've released now that I could just fill up a booth myself. And it's a lot of it's out of stock, which is, to the benefit of the support that everybody's given us. But the games though, we had stuff that's out of stock, not on the website, that Josh and Sheena had a case of. So we had 10 copies of a game or 20 copies of a game. We had some silver editions of Aura Body for the NES that we had there. All of them but one sold. I have the one still, so it'll come to another convention in the future. And that's what we do. We're not going to put it up online. We're going to bring it to another show with us. So when you find us, you'll find maybe something special from us. And so it's just really crazy, though. It's we probably are going to have to chat with Scott and be 2 tables is the standard. You can't do 1 table setup with premium anymore. Not with 10 titles. It's just going to be packed. It's going to be too much. And I think the branding, because you had the banner that you created, Tristan. I think that was amazing because it was perfectly centered behind us. Having the ones on the actual cover on the the tablecloths, like those ones there, which I think Coffin found us some treats for it, and then we found clips and we made that work. I think it all turned out perfectly. You had that the clamp with the trailers.
Oh yeah.
That thing was awesome because I mean I brought my laptop, which is cool, had a little touchscreen and everything. But like with yours, the way it was set up, like people could go over there and like interact with it like a kiosk, which I thought that turned out. It couldn't have turned out better, honestly. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it made life for like with your laptop and the other stuff. I mean, like people are always asking us like what the game plays like, but you don't really get a sense of what it plays like unless you see the trailer. So we have to direct them over to either your laptop or that kiosk. It just makes it easier on us and a better experience for them, just so that they're getting something that they want, and they're not like surprised when they get home and disappointed. Not that they would be disappointed because all the games are awesome.
I do, and some of our newer team members and some customers who come by and ask, "Oh, do you have a game to demo?" Logistically, with so many games that we have, it would be tough because the one game they'd want to demo we wouldn't have on hand. Like that's just how exactly. It would work, and getting all that on a Switch and everything, like, and the fact is we'd have to have it on lock and key or whatever. Like Scott has an idea of where he has it like behind it, and you got a cheap controller or something. That's pretty good idea. It worked out pretty well for him at a different convention. So as long as he has the right games, that'll be pretty cool. But I think the setup went great. It went late as hell though, like because we were helping Josh and Sheena, and after that, what did we do? We went drinking. What did we do?
Oh no, Coffin and I went back to the room and like just I think we slept, didn't we? Didn't we just because like we were roomed with Scott. I don't think we ended up going out with you or with anybody on Friday night.
I want to say Friday night.
We didn't leave till 10. I think it was 10 o'clock. We left the actual MGC and left and got food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went to the 3rd Street Market for food. So we like walked across the street or whatever with Josh and Sheen after we helped them. And we ended up linking up with some of the old Nintendo Age and Tetris guys. So I saw Christian Dietering there, Vince, who run... and
oh crap,
Steve
Vince was there? Damn
Vince,
it.
He rode on my back like Yoda. He's huge. He rode on my back.
Oh.
So yeah, we hung out with and Frank Westfall, who we work with Premium. They were all there. We were doing some drinking, some hanging out. They had the only thing they had open was like some taco place. So I had some delicious tacos. They were really cool. And then Josh and Sheen also had some anime friends of them. They were like anime vendors. They were at the show, and we hung out with them too. And then they had Mario Kart over there, so we were playing some Mario Kart. So that was a fun little thing. Most of the time at these conventions, mind you, I don't have time to go around and actually play video games because we're always hanging out with people we know. But yeah, Fridays usually. The other thing is, this is the first year at MGC that a Friday I'm not outside the vendor hall. Usually I'm like outside. So like last year, Premium was like outside the vendor hall, right in the middle. But that also meant that people could come by Friday after they get their tickets and buy stuff. We did not do that this year. Yeah. And then one of the other crazy things, as MGC, chaos always happens, but we always figure it out and help out as much as we can. Initially, we were going to hand out our games, Cathedral. And it turned into an anxiety attack for me Friday night. It was insane. So essentially, it turned into, well, can you hand out all the games? And I thought it'd be like 2 games, 3 games. That's what I was told. I was like, yeah, I can hand out a couple games. Ended up being 8 games. And then half of those games weren't assembled on Friday night. And then they also wanted us to sell the games, which then that was something that we didn't have the capacity to do. So, luckily, Dan's always awesome. We had a plan. They ended up moving over to the merch center so they could sell the games, hand them out or whatever. And then we helped out, which appreciate everybody helping out, like you guys. And we had some community members assembling with MGC. But that transitions to Saturday, and the classic where Scott's like, "Oh, the table's set. It's perfectly set up." And I go, "Hey, Tristan, come here." And we looked at it. We're like, "Oh, no, it's not."
Yeah.
Like, it was like stuff was flipped over, and it was insane. I'm like, we got to have it feng shui. So we kind of gave Scott a kind of a 101 on how to make stuff look cool. We made it look cool. So we all woke up Saturday assembly. The chaos, man. So what do you got for the chaos?
It was
Yeah.
so that morning was pretty wild because I think it was like what 6:30 when we got up in the morning, and we just kind of got Josh, and then we just kind of rallied and went over there, and then we also had some other friends that we had there that were going to the convention, and they also helped with putting the games together. And then you guys had to set up your booth, so I stayed with those guys and helped Dan and them try to get the rest of the Sega Genesis carts done. And they had Ryan doing the Nintendo carts, and then they had a couple other people just putting in papers and closing them. So it was pretty chaotic when we were in that booth.
Craziness.
Got it done though. Yeah, I mean, it was all hands on deck, and we knew a couple of we've got some friends that were there from a Facebook group that we're part of, which he's got the shirt on UNES, and we knew that they were game for helping us out, so we phoned a friend. They got up there, they freaking crushed it, and definitely appreciative to those two. It was Donald Grunlow and Matt Cadillac. Is that right?
Matty Caddy. There we go.
Coffin?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got that right. I'm shouting them out. I just want to make sure I don't get that wrong. Anyway, so yeah, like Jeff and I kind of left and set up our booth because it had been a little bit messied up from the night before whenever we set up.
Yeah.
And we barely got it done in time for the 9 o'clock. The very important gamers were able to get in there 1 hour early before the big rush. And man, dude, Dan hooked us up with like some prime real estate.
We're
you walk into the vendor hall, you cannot miss us. Just bam, like huge sign, all of our games right there. And so we had a lot of foot traffic coming by us and asking us about the games. Everyone was super excited. One thing that, man, like I'm sure Jeff is used to this. He's probably desensitized, but I'm not tired of it yet. It's so cool whenever like someone comes up and like they're a backer of your games. I mean, not your games, but your books. And they're like, yeah, man, I really like your book, and like, thank you for making it. And I was a backer, and I'm just always blown away, like meeting the Kickstarter backers that actually helped me to make my books. So that was a really cool experience. The one that came by that wanted to buy my book but didn't want to like lug it around because it's 5 pounds or something like that.
87 pounds.
87 pounds. So he bought one online later. Ended up he was a college professor, and he was putting together a curriculum for a video game history class.
That's cool.
And he wanted to use my book as a reference, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. So, yeah.
I honestly though, like doing this as long as I have, you don't get desensitized to it as long as you enjoy doing it. Cause like,
oh, for sure.
Cause like, I mean, one guy that came by and was chatting with me was the guy who tabbed out my NES Oddities book when he was hunting all the homebrew stuff. And he's like, dude, I was like, were you the guy in Portland? Cause I told a story about you. He's like, yeah, man, it was me. I was like, it's super cool though that people take the time and enjoy something that you do. That's why I always said, like, if a couple people enjoy it, it's awesome. And when you get feedback, that you don't get that feedback all the time. Usually.
Oh yeah, I mean, on a normal Tuesday, like you're just going about your business and like in your own little world, and you don't realize that people actually enjoy and actually like comb over the stuff that you're making. So to be able to go to these conventions and actually like interact with some people and get that real feedback, it really I don't want to say it's vindicating, like, but it definitely makes that time that you sunk in, the time that you invested, worth it.
Yeah. I mean, the time I get
You
desensitized
think
is
about it
about
like
the time I'm gonna move on, man.
Yeah.
What's
well, the
up?
thing is, like, I was like seeing a lot was like you guys were like it was like you guys are being Santa Claus and the kids are thanking you for their presents. It was like really really cool to see it, you know.
That's funny.
Joy the presence. I mean, it all and honestly, like it almost goes back to like Coffin's Game On story from back in the day. Like, I feel like I'm the same exact way as I was back then, where I'm just appreciative of people that support and having a good time, hanging out. I mean, now, admittedly, I was off this weekend because I knew I had to do stuff that upcoming Wednesday. So I was a little bit different than I normally would be. Usually I'm freaking crazy, Energizer Bunny. So,
Yeah.
but I still, like, it was still fun as hell. And seeing people even enjoy the games we're putting out or any piece of anything we've designed is, like, ridiculous. Watching them look at the damn strategy guides and the Robot Named Fight one, which we had copies of, and they're like, oh my god. Like, it's so cool. Oh, that's a cool picture that it
I wanted one.
What was that, Coffin? Your picture froze with you like with your mouth open.
The Robot Named Fight Guide. I've been looking at that forever. Even you can even ask Sabara about it because like I wanted it for so long and I couldn't get my hands on it. So when it was there, I was like, I gotta get one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. That one was the interesting one where I had to rewrite that sucker from scratch after it was already created. The developer and I, Matt Bittner, had to go over every page and every analysis to make sure it's accurate. Like, it was a crazy one. We haven't done a premium guide since, but that's because the next one is Sunshine Anthology, which St. Tristan of Obara is helping with.
Yes, sir. That'll be pretty fun. I like putting together manuals, and strategy guide is just manual on steroids.
It really is. Honestly, the goal was to do like one premium guide a year. So the fact is 21, 22, 23 kind of had about an extra year in there. But there's an art book for Raji in there that's hardcover. So
yeah.
And it's not like we're not doing books too. So it's like plenty of books.
I know, yeah. Our own project.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Exactly. So going back to MGC, chaos all day, both days at the booth, to the point where people were like, I had to wait for, like different people to leave so I could look at stuff. But 11:30 on Saturday, Tristan, we did a panel.
We did. Yeah, that was the first panel I've ever done. That was pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. I'm sure you could tell, but
you did great.
Overall, I think I did okay. I've got a couple things to learn from. Just like this podcast, I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
But next time, I'm not gonna bring games up and put them directly in front of me so no one can see. Like all you can see was my face. I'm an idiot.
This is amazing.
Whatever.
The thing is too is that there's a few ways that I've done panels. That one I figured would be more interesting to have the YouTuber who is running the bonus stage, which is I think it's Pixel Chainsaws. Is his name?
It was something chainsaw. I don't think it was. I don't think it was Pixel Chainsaw. I think it was...
Well, let me look it up so I get it right.
Tiger Chainsaw?
Tiger Chainsaws, yes.
Yeah.
Dude was super cool. Awesome dude. And he has a pretty fun channel. But since he was there, I knew he's like, was a YouTuber. I was like, what I said to him before we started, I was like, hey, act like you don't know anything about what we do and ask us questions. He's like, oh, that'll be easy. He's like, I'm just learning about you. I was like, perfect. Because otherwise, once you do a couple panels, you almost get into a routine where you forget or think you've already said something, where you feel like you're repeating something and you hadn't said it at this convention. Especially, there's a few years where I've done 13 panels and 13 conventions. And, and it was like I would kind of bring on a guest every time. So that's where, like, if you go to the Addles of Video Game Bullshit on our podcast stream, you'll notice some of these panels all have a different guest. Like, I'll have Thor Ackerland on with me, or I'll have Kurt Collada on, or whomever. It gives it variety, so that way it's not just me rambling the whole time. Because otherwise I'll forget where the hell I am, and it'll be the same shit over and over and over. But having him there to ask questions too, and I knew it was your first one, so I was like, I didn't want to put pressure on you. Made it good. And also I knew it was going to be a really tough panel for me, because Kyle and I did the Video Game Bullshit panels there every year.
Yeah.
So I knew that was going to be tough, so I said, we'll just do a premium one. It's not going to be on the Video Game Bullshit channel. It's going to go on the Switch, the premium Playcast, the Switch-based one. It'll go on Premium's YouTube channel and everything. Since it was only premium. We talked something about books, but it's mainly premium, right? So, it's one of those things where it was a really cool one. I'll do a little bit of editing, get it to him, the audio, and we'll make sure that gets out there, because that was a really cool panel. I made a lot of people taking pictures, posting it on social media. But what do you think was the biggest takeaway from the panel, though, Tristan?
Well, first and foremost, so we were supposed to have Coffin on the panel, and due to some miscommunication, that was 100% my fault. I thought that, since it was just premium, like, that we were only going to have us two, but we were supposed to still have Coffin. So I'm like, hey, Coffin, we're not going to have you. Yeah, that was my bad. He was supposed to be up there talking with us too. So, well,
you got to realize too is that, like, outside of us being a sponsor for premium, like, I'm on the website as a guest. And next year we got to make sure you're on there as a guest, and we get Coffin on there as a guest for Video Game Bullshit. Like, that has been 10 years I've been on there for a guest. So it's like, I'm on the bonus stage just to talk me. However, it's way more interesting for us to talk about Switch stuff. It makes
I totally agree. And I mean, that's where, Coffin, I've known him for a long time. He and I have been friends for, over a decade now. And I know that he, we're, all three of us, honestly, are pretty like-minded in the way that we collect. We're really passionate about it. I mean, we're gamers to the core. You can't separate the gamer from the person, because it's the same thing. But he brings a different perspective because, obviously he's a different human, has different tastes. So the more the merrier, and that's why I'm glad that he's on this podcast. And then, he should have been on the panel with us too.
Yeah.
If nothing else, to take a little pressure off me.
Well, I was just like, it was like basically like I didn't want to interfere with anything, because you guys were, that's your business, you're going on there, you're doing your thing, you're trying to promote, and so I just, like I told him, I said, you guys should be talking about your releases. It should be something that you guys should work towards. I'm always a big supporter of everybody. I like supporting people that have a passion for the same things that I like, and so it's just good to. It was honestly just good just to actually see the con itself, but also see the inner workings of how things go on during the 3-day cycle. And it was just pretty amazing just to kind of just be a fly on the wall and look around and see all the cool things you guys were doing.
It was wild. Usually we're at the main panel hall. Last year, shit was full. The whole panel hall, the giant one, was filled. So, like, us being on the bonus stage with a small amount of promotion was definitely different. But in the future, like, I just got to make sure, like, no, we'll do two of them. Do a premium one, then we do a Video Game Bullshit. We talk collecting. And we'd have an hour on the main one, too. I'm not used to this 30-minute thing where we're already done by the time we get our intros.
Yeah,
done.
Dude, that was over before we knew it. Like, I couldn't believe we were up there for 30 minutes already.
Told you that's how it's going to go. I mean, even here on the episodes, we barely get through, like, anything, and we're already, like, an hour and a half in. And we're
that's another thing that I learned. Put my mouth up to the mic next time.
Eat the microphone. Tristan.
Eat the microphone.
Well, yeah, because it's the thing is like when you're recording in a room like you are now, like my microphone's right here and it picks up things decently. It's still a little bit quieter because it's not right up on me. But I use a program to equal out all of our voices because like Coffin's is much louder than both of our audio on the live channel.
Just his voice.
Yeah, but it's also where his microphone is. It's a better microphone right on.
Bar, did you
And he.
What's up?
Did you tell Jeff the most popular person that was at MGC?
No.
Most popular? Oh,
Do you remember?
well, are you talking about? Oh yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, Randy Macho Man Savage.
He
He's
disappeared.
got this jacket, and dude, like everywhere he went, like people are like, "Oh my gosh, can I take a picture of that?" Like, yeah.
He was the cream of the
John
crop.
Riggs actually did a cutaway of my jacket.
The cream of the
There's a
crop.
video. I saw his video, and the first thing he was sneaking up behind me, like taking a film of the actual jacket, and I caught him, and he kind of like turned away. It was really freaking hilarious. But the whole
John
weekend,
Riggs?
everyone wanted like pictures with it. Yeah, everyone wanted pictures with it. I went to go get my insulin because I'm a type 1 diabetic, and people on the streets were trying to stop me to get pictures with it. I was like, and I told him, I was like, I guess my jacket's the most popular person in this whole entire convention because everyone just seems to stop and want to take a picture with it.
And someone offered you weed, right? Like a joint.
Yeah. So we were walking up the street, and there was these sweet ladies that were behind me, and they were just having a normal conversation. And as soon as they saw my jacket, they like blew up, like, "Oh my God, Macho Man Randy Savage!" She's like, "Can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so she went behind me, took a picture, and she's like, "You want some weed?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. You guys enjoy yourself, enjoy your conversation," and just kind of walked off. And she was it made her whole day basically that Macho Man jacket.
That's hilarious.
Even the wrestlers were asking me where I got it from. Like the wrestlers were like, "Where did you get it from?" And they had it was really funny because they had a release of it, and there was only like 100 of them. And I told Amar I missed the first one, and I was so mad that I missed it. And then the second run of them, I got it. And so all I did for like a week, I was working where he's working at now, and I would walk around with that jacket, and they're not supposed to be wearing that jacket in there, but everyone was like popping for the jacket there too, which I thought was hilarious.
I can't imagine seeing someone in U.S. Stratcom walking around in that Macho Man jacket.
Someone dared me to wear it. Someone's like, "I dare you to wear that jacket in here," and I was like, "I'll do it." And so I rolled to work with it on, and then people were like stopping and popping for it. It was so funny.
Well, I mean, we did an ugly Christmas sweater competition at work, and I'm military, and I wore a Macho Man Randy Savage purple sweater. It says "cream of the crop," and he has a creamer with him. Then my daughter wore Old School Wrestling Podcast Macho Man Santa sweater too. So we both had Macho Man sweaters. Two Macho Man Christmas sweaters this year for the party.
Amazing.
It was really fun. So yeah, I definitely respect the Macho Man swag. It's awesome. And it was Mania weekend, which made it all more fun.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The other thing that was really funny was the elevator situation too, because every time I went to go get food for us or go downstairs, I kept running into people. Like Shang Tsung was one of them, and I said, I guess your soul is yours now. And he started laughing. I saw Phoenix Resale with his mustache, and then who was the other one? It was Kung Lao. Kung Lao was on there going down to do the band thing, which I thought was awesome too. And I was like, every time I step in this elevator, someone famous is in here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you mentioned Riggs doing video. There were quite a few channels doing skits with us this year, which was interesting. Phoenix Resale did one. Tiger Chainsaws, he did one for sure. And then there was another one, I think Square Pegs, the guy who came on after us. He's a cool dude. He also did a little like portion where he showed off our panel and stuff. So like Phoenix Resale hasn't posted theirs yet, but he did a long post. His was funny though because he was trying to get like a perfect YouTube screenshot that he would use for his title card, and we never had people leave the table enough for him to get it perfect.
Yeah.
We tried.
Last day was really funny too because when the convention was closing, there were some guys that got on the elevator, and I accidentally pushed the button, and they thought that they were actually
my
on their
gosh.
floor, and they went out of the elevator, and then I told Amaro, like, let's go, because the elevators were really, really full of traffic at the time, so we snuck in there and pushed the button, and they kept conveniently going towards the other direction, and they didn't say anything. It was so funny.
Oh, jeez. Freaking craziness. So Saturday though, we backtracked to Saturday. Finished out the convention, and then it was time for the after party, right? So, we ended up doing the after party gigs, which started with Kung Lao and the Scorpions. I think Ryan and our team got some kind of crazy chicken or something with it. Some kind of chicken food or something.
That was Dave's
Best
hot
food
chicken.
ever.
Oh my gosh, it was good.
Yeah. Looks
so
cool.
good.
Looks cool. Yeah, I got my little allergy thing, so I couldn't eat it, but I think I had some fries or chips or something. I can't remember. I was drinking.
You were destroying fries. I remember that vividly.
Yeah, it was Johnny
Because
Walker.
me and you were both
before.
destroying those fries.
Yeah, I mean that's all there was for me to eat. So I was like, I'll eat that. It was we were drinking Johnny
I
Walker.
joked, I called it like the Mortal Kombat endurance round because everyone was so tired from the convention, but everyone was trying to stay up and be positive and have fun, and it was a ball. I had a blast.
Yeah, I have to give crap to our team member Joe, who ended up grabbing the Mortal Kombat dudes and getting them wasted up in his room. Apparently though, they also went to the hotel bar, and so if we would have went to the hotel bar, we probably could have hung out with them. I did not.
Well, that would have been nice for Joe to, I don't know, let us know.
I know. It was craziness. The quote of the weekend was, we would mention Joe and everyone would go, who? Because like he'd disappear drinking the whole week.
Okay, Joe, if you're watching this, dude, I've never met you before. I say hi to you, and you can give two craps who I am.
Was it Sunday? No, it was Saturday.
I think it was Saturday, yeah.
You were already there over a day.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh my god, it was so funny. But like, yeah, so a little after party, we hung out there a little bit, to listen to Kung Lao and the Scorpions, which was fun. And then I think we just hung out and you guys played, or I know Coffin played in the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah, the organizer like came up to me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to play in this tournament?" I'm like, "No. I won't, but there's a ringer right there," and I like pointed to Coffin, so I like threw him under the bus.
That's funny.
The poor lady that had to verse me, she was like, "I don't know how to play," and I was like, "Well, I'm not giving you any mercy," and so I beat the brakes off of her, and everyone was like, "Why would you do that to her?" And I was like, "Hey, man, she's getting on the sticks. I have to defend my honor."
Exactly. No, I mean, it is what it is when it comes to these conventions. It's fun though, and usually we don't play too many video games. There's too much. We're too tired, honestly, and then we just want to hang out and just shoot the shit and catch up.
No, it was.
Amaro was instigating with Josh.
What's that? Oh yeah.
So he was instigating with Josh. Josh beat one round, and Amaro was behind me going, "Ooh." And he made me so mad that like I had to defend my honor and like beat him. And then Scott was upset with Amaro because he got beat, and it was so funny. And then then they threw me against, and then everyone started like immediately like going to each round with me. They kept selecting me, and I was beating everybody until I got to John, Gamester 81, and he was just jump kicking me the entire time, and I couldn't stop him.
He cheesed you. That's too funny though. But yeah, it was wild.
Oh, go ahead, dude.
That was wild.
Yeah, it was fun talking with everybody, but in those after parties and clubs or whatever, it's always a challenge because they've got the music up so effing loud, and it's no different in that after party. Like they had the volume up to 15.
Well, the volume was a lot quieter than it has been at other conventions.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. You go to like Cobra Arcade Bar Game On Expo in Arizona, and it is blasting loud.
Yeah, that place is crazy.
Like you can hear yourselves talk at this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's really loud at some of the places. But this
The other funny thing that was happening was people standing. Everyone was like hurting. Their feet were hurting from all day at the convention, and everyone was like doing an endurance round there, trying to see who can stand up the most. And finally, everyone just kind of gave up and got seats.
Yeah. So one thing I do like about like MGC is like they have their type of after party, and then there's other conventions that do their own things. Like Too Many Games will have metal bands playing, like James Rolfe's band, Rex Viper will play. But then they also go to the hotel, and everybody just hangs out there and chills. And sometimes they'll have food there, and then you go to the bar, and everybody's there, including the YouTubers, just hanging out. Game On is cool because we all go to Cobra Arcade Bar afterward. And usually there's like a hangout at the hotel afterward. But like some of these conventions have some really cool after parties. Those are my favorite ones. Southeast Game Exchange, Austin, who runs that, will have like a spot at this other bar where he'll just like rent it out and everybody just goes there and shoots the shit. And I like it when the conventions bring the vendors with the guests. Because what I don't like is when they try to like segregate, because like in reality it's like everybody should be hanging out and doing cool stuff. Like we're all there at the show.
Where did we go in Portland? Was that Quarter World? Was that the arcade bar that we went to?
Yeah, I think it was Quarter World. Yeah, that was
super fun.
That was fun as hell. And yeah, Portland was a different beast. That was the first night, right? That was the one that was ran by Whatnot, and they had open bar.
Yeah, open bar, open food, open games. Oh my gosh.
That was cool. That was really cool. Yeah, I think we were too tired the second night. Like we were blasted.
I was dead to the world.
Yeah, and some of those conventions they're like that. Midwest, I try to hang out with too many people, man. Austin for Classic Game Fest. A lot of the Midwest Gaming Classic usual suspects are there, and it's even crazier. Like going with Tim Kitcher and Daniel Pacino and Paul Niemeyer to a jazz bar and just hanging out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like it's just, those are the cool ones because they don't do a convention thing, but then just some of the guests that I've known forever, we just go out and hang out. I remember a couple years ago, Ryan, because Ryan lives out there, and I went with Paul, and we went to this bar called Outer Heaven, aka named after the game Snatcher. And
that's cool.
I'm the oldest dude in there, and I'm with Paul. Everybody else is college kids in this dance party, but I'm a big vinyl collector. I've been collecting video game vinyl since the very beginning, and if you haven't heard of Moonshake Records, they're like one of the ones who created vinyl. Well, the dude who owned and created Moonshake Records is behind the thing in a cutoff shirt spinning music and doing DJing. And I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. And he was like, holy shit, you actually... I was like, yeah, I was one of your very first people. I got the Dark Side of the Moon Zelda album. I got all the original stuff from him.
I got the Smashing Pumpkins one.
Yeah, I asked, like, what happened? And he's like, well, I started this. That's what he said. I was like, oh, shit. So he owns Outer Heaven. So I know Ryan's planning on doing Outer Heaven this year again. That was super fun. And that's why those conventions are cool, is the stories like that. So we all got to get together at this after party, but it was the memories of us just all hanging out.
Yeah, and dude, I've been to a handful of conventions now. Obviously, it pales in comparison to the repertoire you've got, but I've been to Screw Attack Gaming Convention a few times. I've been to Super BitCon a few times. I've been to Retropalooza and Let's Play in Portland 3 times. This is my first time I've ever gone to Midwest Gaming Classic. Like, it was the best time I've ever had at a convention. It was so much fun. And, obviously I'm on the other side, but still, even if I were like, got a VIG ticket or whatever like that, this was a really well-run, really big convention with a whole lot of vendors, a whole lot of good stuff to buy. just overall a really good vibe in the place. So I mean, dude, there was a freaking wrestling ring with like pro wrestlers in the corner of it. Every once in a while,
That
you
was the
hear like
first
the
year.
mat just like, what's that?
This was the first year they had wrestling there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if that was like every time. But
No, Too
that
Many
was really
Games has
cool.
had that before, but like it was really cool. I agree. It was
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah,
like
no, it was an awesome
MGC
time.
has the best food vendors at any of the conventions you go to. They have the Pecos Pete or Bill or whatever it is, the soda cans.
Yeah, the root beer.
The root beer dudes. Those guys are cool, but having the coffee dudes there and the smoothie people, like those type of stuff, is really keeps you going throughout the day.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. And by the way, yeah, thank you, Coffin. You were a lifesaver. Like, I was stuck at the booth, like doing a whole lot of sales, and it was hot in there. So I was getting really dehydrated, and he was acting like a runner and getting water every once in a while for me. And thank you very much for that.
Well, I just felt bad that like everyone was, like working really hard and it was really hot in there. So I tried. Even Josh didn't even ask me for anything, and I went and got him stuff, and he was like, "Thank you, I am dying in this suit." And so I was just glad to help out and try to like help him while you guys were doing sales and things like that.
Yeah, it was craziness, and Sunday was same deal. Crazy day,
Yeah.
lots of sales. But let's talk about what your favorite pickup was of MGC. We each get one, maybe an honorable mention if there's really two cool ones. But we'll start with you, Tristan.
I didn't do a whole lot of shopping, but it's easy for me. I picked up. So just to go back a little bit, about a month ago, I purchased a candy cab, a Japanese candy cabinet, a Sega Astro City arcade cabinet with a Tate mode. I know people say Tate.
Tate mode.
And it sounds weird.
I love
But
Tate
anyway,
mode.
yeah, Tate mode,
Tate mode.
monitor.
Tate
So I picked up a JAMA board of Sengoku Ace to throw in my JAMA cab, and it is a fun shooter.
Hell yeah. That's a cool ass pickup, man. I can't believe that you found that there. Like arcade stuff.
Yeah, there was a dude with a whole bunch of arcade boards, and I bought both the shooters he had. So
Well, my thing is when it comes to that kind of stuff, pick it up because that guy will never be there again. One year, when I got my Nintendo Red Tent, they had original pieces to the Nintendo Red Tent, like the buttons and the manuals and stuff, and that never showed up again at MGC. And now people make replicas of it, apparently, so it's like you can't even find them. So it's like I bought them, lucked out. One thing I didn't do this year, which I wish I would have, is go to the Vectrix dudes, because there's like 2 Vectrix guys there. I didn't go to them this year. But, yeah, what'd you get, Coffin?
The big one that I got was on the last day right before we left, and that was there's a actual biohazard controller that was actually made for the director's cut of Resident Evil for PS1 and RE2. And what's so rare about it is, one, it's an original box, but it has actual Capcom sponsored like tea herbs inside the actual packaging, and then it had the stickers for the original thing not touched. And it was very expensive to name a few. I tried negotiating it down, but I'll never see it, so I had to grab it.
That's cool.
the real question is, are you gonna drink the tea?
Should.
Yes, I will.
Craziness. Yeah, I mean, my thing is that whenever I
Like
go
that-
so many of these conventions now that I don't typically buy a ton. This convention, I got a bunch of homebrew stuff and all that. Got the 3D printed stuff, because I know you got one too. But I still think my favorite thing that I found was from Josh and Sheena, which was literally like a Super Mario Brothers Famicom lunchbox that I got from them. I think it was cool. It was a cool thing. I've never seen it before. It'll be a nice little, piece to add to the collection. But I didn't pick up a ton of stuff outside of that and supporting. So I think I got about 4 or 5 brand new like NES games, and I got the Moto X Super Nintendo stuff, and I got all those. But like, I always pick up all that stuff. That stuff's pretty cool. I love that stuff. I got that.
I love homebrews.
The little developer that was next to us that was working on his game. I was the backer on his Kickstarter, so he gave me my backer copy right there, which was pretty cool, and signed it. So that stuff's awesome. But yeah, the stuff for me is the little small things, getting. But like that Famicom lunchbox is probably my coolest thing. Yeah, I didn't get a ton of stuff outside of that.
Well, it helps. I mean, it doesn't help that you flew, so like you have to keep that in mind that you've got luggage to pack.
I drove back, man.
Oh, you drove back? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
I
had no excuse.
That's right. I knew that.
I had no excuse this time. My wife gave me so much crap. She's like, "Why aren't you coming back with the Foo Fighters pinball table?" And then I was a smart ass on Sunday and took a picture of one of the boxes. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got it right here." And Josh was like, "No, she's gonna make us grab it." I was like, "Well, that would be cool, but I'm not spending $15,000 on the."
Is that how much it was?
For the ultimate one? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. I think eventually I'm gonna get one.
Oof.
Eventually, but not now. The thing is that also with me like having to pack on my house, I was kind of not buying a ton right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. I mean, you would immediately have to put it into storage, so I don't blame you there.
Yeah, exactly. So should we transition to the second part of the episode?
Sure.
Because something that happened right after MGC that we all did. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. John Leslie Gamo. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. There we got more. We got Spike. Yeah. Hilarious. Got the figures. So I actually wasn't able to see it until yesterday. So on Monday, because I was out, visiting family and everything. Coolest thing about it though was I went with my daughter. She was off school yesterday because of the Easter holiday. She said it was the best movie she's ever seen, which was really cool. And when she was like 1 or 2, her and I played Mario 64 together. So she had played Mario 64, knew how to throw Bowser, knew everything. When Mario Odyssey was released, her and I played it. She had her own save, and we even got all the way to the Dark Side of the Moon. Like, we were playing everything. So she got all the references. She got the the wedding Bowser reference. She got him throw Mario spinning Bowser just like he did in Mario 64. She got all the different sounds. She was waiting for Tanuki Mario to come out. It was like she was like cheering and happy, smiling the whole time, and her being always on her phone and doing Roblox a lot and developing. Like, it was awesome to see her like go, oh. Yep, she's definitely my daughter.
Very
nice. And I want to say, like, movie was amazing, but I want you guys to do your take, because I know Tristan had an awesome posting that I read, an emotional posting. But to me, it was perfect. Definitely a kid's movie, but it was perfect. I personally didn't care about any of the music that was in it. I thought it was cool. It was meant for kids. Like, it was great.
Absolutely,
little references. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, hilarious. Like whatever. And I didn't complain about anything at all. It was and it probably is because my daughter was like glowing the whole time. It made it like that much cooler.
And I watched it with my wife. I don't have kids, so I didn't watch it with a kid. But I went there watching it as a kid. Me watching it as a kid.
Big kid.
And he alluded to it. I posted about it on Facebook right after I went and saw it, because I mean it had a pretty big emotional impact on me. I wasn't expecting that either, but I mean, from the moment they got sucked in and like Mario was like spat out into the Mushroom Kingdom, they did such an amazing job with the musical cues and just kind of conveying like the gravity of where he is and you know that world that all of us grew up playing. um Man, did it just hit all the feels for me. So like I kept getting choked up, man. Like I was tearing up. And my wife, you know, she had no idea. She thought I was just enjoying the movie, which I was, but I was just enjoying it in a different way because, dude, you know, like I said before in this podcast, we're all gamers here. I'm a gamer to the core. Like I wasn't a gamer before Super Mario Brothers came out. Like that's what cemented myself as a gamer.
Yeah.
My grandma just out of nowhere like bought us excuse me, not Super Nintendo, and Nintendo Entertainment System, and dude, ever since I've been obsessed.
Well,
So
think about the
to be able,
references, dude. Like, you had, even in the game, near the beginning, or in the movie, they had a guy playing Jumpman, dressed as Jumpman, voiced by Charles Martinet, who's the voice of Mario. Like, I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, like Mario's old boss is in there. I'm like, ah, shit. Wrecking Crew. Like I used to play Wrecking Crew all the time. So
the pizzeria they're in was Punch Out Pizzeria.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said that on there. He's playing Kid Icarus on the NES.
They go into why they're called the Super Mario Brothers. It's just like some like marketing ploy for them.
Where they had the capes and they're like flying on strings.
Yes. So good, man.
That was hilarious. I mean, there's just so many references, man.
Yeah, just references all over the place. Like if you aren't looking all over the screen on like every single part of that movie, you're gonna miss something. So
Mario's room was filled, like the R-wing above the TV while he's playing Kid Icarus, and then there's a baseball, NES baseball poster, and like, oh my god.
I think the references that are the Easter eggs that I enjoyed the most, and I thought were the most impactful, and something that got me tearing up again, was anything that had to do with Satoru Iwata, the former president of Nintendo, who passed away about 10 years ago now, more or less. But yeah, he was just such a beloved figure as a gamer, as a Nintendo president. He really got it. I mean, he started it as a developer. His first game was Balloon Fight, which was another reference in there. Like you probably caught the Balloon Fight guy like as a sign on the side of a building. Yeah. But that dude Iwata, like, absolutely encapsulated what it is to be a gamer and someone that's just really in the video game world, and we're kind of, you and I, Jeff, are kind of in that same world where we're making games and we're gamers ourselves. So Iwata is just like the pinnacle of that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I was really happy to see that, and of course they're going to pay homage to him. They couldn't not, but I was really glad to see that.
That's cool. What about you, Coffin?
Well, you know that I've written some topics in the book about my mom, and my mom was a big influence on me being into video games. She was really big into Donkey Kong. We used to go to Chuck E. Cheese. We were kind of really poor, so we would take quarters, and she would play Donkey Kong, and I'd play Choice 10. And so when big things happened, she always took advantage of it. And so 1993 came out, and as we were joking here with the figures, went to KB Toys and got these two figures right here. Was super excited to think that like the movie that the kids got today were was the movie that I dreamed of as a kid, that what I thought the movie was going to be. And then you go to the
Yeah.
movie and it's something completely different. But I enjoyed the movie for what it was. My mom made it a great experience. She took me to get the 7-Eleven cups. She made a whole day of it. So for me, I've always liked the movie. I've always thought it was awesome. But what's so great about the situation that I was in, and you probably saw the pictures of me dressed up as Donkey Kong, the reason why I dressed up as Donkey Kong was for my mom. And so I surprised my kids on Easter to go see the movie, and it was just a fun thing to share with my kids. The same thing that my mom did for me, and go see this movie, and they absolutely loved it. And that's the portion of it that I enjoyed the most, was I get to share my love and admiration for video games with my kids. And my mom passed away really early, so she never got the opportunity to do this with my kids.
Yeah.
So like we do things like, for example, like Blockbuster, we used to go on Fridays and eat pizza and stuff. And so here in my house, we call it Pizza Friday. And then so I wanted to do the same thing to represent my mom. So I dressed up in this big Donkey Kong suit and basically scared my kids. You can see the video of it on Facebook. But they were really, really excited about going, and they had an absolute ball going to the movie. And I'm just really happy that finally I got a closure to it. That I actually got the movie that I dreamed of that I wish that I would have seen as a kid finally come to life. And I think it's just awesome that they did so much respect for all the the things from Nintendo that I just enjoyed as a kid. So I just thought it was completely awesome.
I mean, and you think about it, like you hit the nail on the head. Like, this is what we wanted as a kid. We wanted when we grew up. They hit all the pieces. I love that we were able to share it with family and children and spouses. And I mean, the graphics were amazing. Illumination does such a good job. Like, it's
the fire flower field. Oh my gosh,
looked so cool. And there's just so many like pictures that just like will live on. And now I want to play a damn video game based on the movie.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope something's in the works, man.
Apparently,
I hope there's a MCU in the works, a Mario cinematic universe. Donkey Kong.
Amazing.
Apparently Bowser's song with Peaches is trending now, and maybe getting like an Oscar, an Academy Award, or something like that. Like apparently that's a real thing.
Did you order the vinyl?
No, there's a vinyl.
I Am 8-Bit has a vinyl of the Bowser, and that song is like it's like a 7-inch, and it actually has that song on there, and the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and they also did one for the actual soundtrack. It's actually an official Nintendo soundtrack, which is why I was excited, because Nintendo never releases their soundtracks. So to have the Mario movie one, they had an exclusive one, and they had a red and green one for Mario and Luigi, which I thought was awesome.
Didn't know anything about that. I'm going to check it out. Hopefully they still have copies available. I bet they don't. But I will try. No, but it was super cool. I was not able to get the popcorn bucket. My movie theater didn't have them. So I just got normal popcorn. When we go there, though, my daughter gets all her snacks. So she got gummy bears, popcorn, and a slushie. As I said, I had a PT test this morning, so I got a vitamin water as I get hydrated.
Was yours an AMC theater that you went to?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, crap, and they didn't have them. That sucks.
I think it was.
You haven't seen them on eBay? There's literally people on there with like 60 of them, and they basically have them all lined up. And I think it's just the movie people actually buying them and then trying to flip them.
Exactly.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, if I really wanted, I'll buy it. It'd have been cooler just to get it for my daughter so she could experience it. It's funny though, going in, she was trying to be like cool 11-year-old kid. Coming out, she wanted to take pictures in front of it and doing all the stuff after because she was so excited. Yeah, it was. And the thing is like the way they represented Peach was perfect because she's like, she's the princess. Like it's Mario 2, like you always play as the princess. So it all made sense to me. Toad was perfect. Luigi was perfect. Mario was ridiculous. Like I didn't think about the actors except for Jack Black because too big of a presence. But it was pretty damn awesome.
Jeff,
awesome.
The vinyls are pre-orders, and you can still pre-order them.
Nice. I'll have to pick one up. Make sure you guys shoot me a link or something so I don't forget, because
I'll fire that off.
Terrible with that stuff. But yeah, 100% on the Mario. Did you both stick around for both Easter eggs?
I sure did.
Yeah,
I did too. Yes.
The last Easter egg was really cool too. So, be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah, Natalie and I were the only two that stayed in the theater and saw that.
Yep.
Everyone else left.
Yeah, London and I were the only two as well. Like, I don't know. I'm hoping though that they see the popularity of this and we get Zelda and Zelda in the future. That'd be flawless.
Punch Out in
Metroid,
Chris and Metroid.
Yeah, Metroid would be the one after Zelda. That would make sense. But you know what they're gonna do, guys? They're gonna have a Kirby movie. Kirby. Like, you know they're going to have one.
I'm sure they will.
I would like a Donkey Kong Country with the KR rule. They already established all the characters. They had Funky Kong, they had Cranky, they had all of them in there. So I think that's where they should go next. Donkey Kong Country would be amazing.
Diddy and Dixie were there too.
That'd be sick.
That would be really cool. Donkey Kong Country would be a fun one. Then we get Star Tropics. Big franchise.
Yo-yos all day.
Yo-yos. Mother 3, the movie. But yeah, like, I just hope that we get more cool stuff. Like, that's it. Maybe they'll let us do the premium packaging of Mario movie. That'd be amazing. Let us do it.
Yeah.
Let us do it, Nintendo. Should we finish out here talking a little bullshit homework?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, bullshit homework. We're still playing Metroid Prime. I am still playing it Prime Hacks on the Steam Deck. I haven't played since the airplane, but I did play it on the airplane. So, I was in, when we had last stopped, in the last episode of Video Game Bullshit, I was in the iced tundra area. So basically, every level of this, to me, is like, I'm lost in a maze, dude. Like, don't know where the hell I'm going. Like, but it's cool because the controls are fun. I, explore. I'm hunting. I forget where I've been, so I'm probably having to retrack places, all this crap. But I feel like I got through all this stuff. I don't think I've fought a damn boss in 3 of the last areas, so I probably missed them somehow. But I did get the boost ball now, so I can go and boost with the morph ball now. And so there's like these little boost areas that were popping up. So I got to the next boost ball area, and then I think I was landing on the plane or something, so I stopped playing. And I haven't played since. It's been about a week. But this week, gotta make some time. So I made some progress, a couple hours of progress in the game. Loving it though. The HD graphics on the Prime Hacks looks great. What about you, Tristan? And then we get to hear what Coffin's been.
Well, Coffin's gonna be able to speak really quickly here because I didn't play it. I didn't have any time.
Figured as much.
So the only time that I would have been able to play it is the last couple days, but I was doing the video editing.
Yeah.
So that's my excuse.
While we're never in a hurry for bullshit homework, we are going to play Tears of the Kingdom when it comes out. So, like,
sure.
We do have some time. I wouldn't mind playing Kirby Return to Dreamland eventually, but I might just play it on my own because I don't think you're going to be interested in playing some Kirby.
No. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love Kirby games. I hate the frequency with which they come out.
Okay. That's fair. Very fair. They come out so fast. I would love to get Zelda's out that fast, or Mario's out that fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So, did you play it all, Coffin?
Yes. So I just to give you a little background into it. This is actually the copy I got at EB Games when I was a kid. This is the actual copy that I have, and I've always loved Prime. Prime at first was kind of scary. I'll be honest with you. I was a big. I really wanted it for Fusion, so they had a deal. It was cheaper if you got Fusion and Metroid Prime together, and so I went on the day it got released, and I got Fusion, and I played Fusion first, and then I finally went into Metroid Prime. Uh, the original, I will say honestly, there is a mode in the remaster that's not there that I'm sad about, and it's called Fusion mode. So if you beat
Play with the costume.
yeah, you get to play with the costume. It's basically like hard mode. So like you get hit like a truck basically in the game, so it makes it harder. But also, if you're able to beat it with fusion mode, you can actually unlock original the original Metroid game for the NES on there,
What?
and it actually
Seriously?
does a save.
It has saves like the Famicom disc version.
Yep.
Holy crap! I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I bought both of them, because I was like, well, I was really excited that I could play both games at once. Like
That's sick.
do it. The remaster, the things I like about it is the controls for sure. No offense to the GameCube, but I absolutely hated the controls.
Yeah, me too.
They drove me crazy, and on there they're just so buttery smooth. I also I hate to say this, I'm not the scanning fan in this game. Like I hate having to scan every single thing in there. It drives me crazy. But I understand they're trying to do the lore, and their mindset was, hey, you're exploring this area, so you have to figure out what's going on. And the other thing I don't like, and I'll say this, is the I call it the AKA the Google Maps on the game itself, because it just like hints you at places and randomly, like you'll just be doing something and it's like, oh, there's a disturbance over here, and then it's just done in like stop signs, and so you have to go to that stop sign. You have to figure out how the hell you're going to get over to there, and it's just really, really kind of like annoying. I know that they're not trying to like push you towards that direction, but it is very confusing when you're trying to look through the map and trying to do things. So when I first played it, I was really kind of like frustrated with those things. I kind of worked through it, but I enjoyed it. But the remaster, I wish they would have fixed the map system for it. I'm in the same place you are with the boost ball, or as I call it, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for Metroid,
Yeah.
because you basically just have half pipes that you're just going back and forth on. And then
That's all I was doing. I probably spent 15 minutes doing that. Like, I didn't know what I was doing.
And it's also really funny too that I forgot about this game. Like, there's so many random spots where you can like sneak between walls, and they actually have shortcuts, but they never explain it to you. And if you're not looking at the strategy guide, you would never know that these things actually exist. It makes it easier for you to get to certain directions.
Well, and,
So
and
I
Coffin, so the way I play bullshit homework, I don't use any online. I don't use anything unless I get completely lost. So I'm not doing tutorials. I'm not watching videos. I'm going at this shit like fresh, like I'm a kid running the damn game back in the day.
and I'm doing the same on the remaster. This is like when I first played the game, I would literally
Yeah.
have. I'm obsessed with strategy guides, because if I get to the point where I get frustrated, I'm just like, I've had enough. I'm just gonna look at this book real quick, and then but it's I always joke, it's like just you're like, okay, I'm gonna just do one, and then later you just keep flipping through the books and trying to do the same thing over and over again.
I get obsessed
But
with the book. I'll just use the damn book, and then
Yeah.
now I'm like following a book instead of playing the game. The thing is, though, with bullshit homework, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the end of our period for the homework, and then we'll all give it like a grade. And after we give it the grade, which some of these games are gonna be like amazing, but we're gonna talk about whether we're gonna continue it on our own time or not. If it's that impactful, where it's like, all right, our time's done, we're moving on to the next thing. Are you going to continue playing it? And that's the question.
I'm the Metroid guy, so I have to say yes. And also Ryan
Well,
is
we're
my
not done
Metroid
yet.
brother.
We're not done
Yep.
yet. We're still going
Ryan's-
with the homework. We got a couple weeks.
Yeah, Ryan's my Metroid brother, and if I said no, he'd probably beat me up. So absolutely,
Yeah.
I love playing that game, and my goal for it, I'm hoping down the road that they actually do a re-release of 2 and 3, because 2 is interesting too, because it's kind of like the Link to the Past with the Light World and Dark World, and I think a remaster for that would be amazing.
Well, like Prime Hacks that I have the whole trilogy all on HD. So like I can continue doing them all, and I never beat the original Metroid Prime, or played 2 or 3. I have them all when they came out. I also have Trilogy when it came out on the Wii. So I just never. I always played games for about an hour and then put it in the backlog. backlog. Or put it in the backlog. So I'm going to continue playing Metroid Prime even when we finish our bullshit homework portion. It'll just be slow rolling. Because it's so convenient on the damn deck, on the Steam Deck. So convenient that I can just fire it up in short bursts. And then get lost as hell, which is hilarious. But after bullshit homework, I will use guides so I can get through. But for bullshit homework, I want it fresh. I want a kid-like experience. And it's up to you guys if we want to move on to another homework after this week, or maybe by next week we could talk about our final, because I want Tristan to have some time to play. But like we could talk about if we want to move on to another game or not. We'll talk about before we record, so that way we have a plan. Because there's lots of games that have come out, and there's some fun stuff that's come out recently.
Yeah. So personally, I would like to continue on.
Yes.
For the simple fact that I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it, and I want to give it a fair shake. So far, I'm a huge fan of that. It's really good. I played it on the GameCube, and just like Coffin said, I didn't enjoy the controls, so I never really stuck with it. If something has frustrating controls, cough cough, the latest Star Fox, I'm not going to play it. So.
I wish the controls were better in that damn game.
No, yeah, me too. Because I love Star Fox, and they really screwed the pooch on that one.
The game is cool as shit. Just that it's frustrating.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play it.
I wish they would just go back to Star Fox 3D. Like the one they did for the 3DS was awesome. And I think the problem is if you look at all the different variations of Star Fox, they had Star Fox Adventures, they had the one with the Star Fox Assault with the tanks. They always try something different, but they never stick to the what made it great, which is basically the flying. The flying portions of it was amazing.
Yeah, they peaked at Star Fox 64, and I mean, how is that possible? Like, how long ago was that? My gosh, just go back to the original formula. Like those freaking N64 wrestling games. Those were amazing. Everyone raves about those. Go back to that.
It's coming back. AEW's doing it. AEW bought the licensing for that gameplay. So it's first day buy. I already saw the trailer for it. That's a first day buy.
AEW
I cannot wait for them to bring that back.
AEW take forever. I really wish it would come out though, because it's gonna be cool once it does come out.
Yeah, I hope it lives up to the hype for sure. Because if they went back to the same formula, that same fighting engine that existed for the WCW games and WWF 2000, and oh my gosh, dude, it's over. Like people are gonna be so happy.
Well, exactly, and what they liked about it was the slow pace. Because now the new games are different. Yeah. So they're just not as fun. They're fun to simulate. One that I really liked, which did have a renaissance, was Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. Loved that game. And then they released the new one. They did the new one, and the new one was really awesome. And then they did like a New Japan thing where you had Kenny Omega in it and Bullet Club and everything. But I have it on Steam. I just really haven't put time into it. The Fire Pro Wrestling world. I think it's time to transition to the outro. We've been going over 2 hours, and I think it's after midnight here for me. Coffin, you're a fan of wrestling, right?
Yes.
So I only have one question for you outside, because Mania just happened. WrestleMania just happened. Are you a fan of how Cody Rhodes was treated, where he didn't win the big one, or do you feel like it's going along the right path?
So, think about this, being an old school wrestling fan. When Ric Flair was there and he was champion, guess who was chasing Ric Flair all the time? That would be Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Yes, the American Dream.
So,
but he would chase it all the time, and he would be chasing. And when he finally got it, it was like this huge payoff. And I think what they're trying to do is, I think they're trying to do the same thing with him. I think they're going to have him chase it probably for another year, build him up, and then basically take Roman out.
So, how I see it is that we have guilty knowledge that we know his journey We know where he was originally. We saw where he was in AEW. Now we're seeing this. If we look at it strictly from a WWE current perspective, he came back at WrestleMania last year, won. Went versus Seth Rollins a couple more times, even once with the torn pack, won. Disappeared for a while. Came back, announced he's going to be in the Rumble, won. He has no hardship since he came back to WWE. So it's a perfect time right now for him to go through some struggles. So the A and E documentary just came out on the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. Has Dustin and Cody on there. He actually talks about kind of alluding to he's going to go through hard times and the hard time struggles that made his dad, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, such a legend in the business. And so if they're going about that route with Cody right now, they're doing it 100% right. He has absolutely earned the position he's in. He is absolutely over. Are they going to be able to is he going to be as over as he was at Mania Night 2 ever again? I hope so. Because that was amazing. He got screwed over. Of course he did. Roman Reigns is being a dirtbag heel. He's a bad guy. I also feel like they're still building up all them days for Roman. I think he's going to hit some kind of pinnacle. And I heard something on a Busted Open podcast with Bully Ray. He mentioned something that I thought was interesting. Instead of him winning the big one at Mania, there's one thing that would be bigger. And it's coming up in September. What if he won the WWE title from Roman Reigns, or the Undisputed, at Madison Square Garden?
That would be insane.
So, I'm just saying, there's other ways for him to finish the story. And the story ain't done. It's a book. We write books. They're never done.
But also, you know the Vince McMahon book as well. You know he's back, and what he likes big guys, and he's in that mindset of it's got to be believable. And with him, he kind of keeps the same script over and over again. That's why I kind of pushed towards AEW, was because I could literally turn off the TV and then come back 6 months later, and it's the same storylines, and it's like, what is going on? Am I in a Twilight Zone?
I don't.
So
think
I hope they don't screw
McMahon
him.
is actually back. I think the Dirk Dastardly mustache, evil villain version of Vince McMahon that came back. I think that was for that. I think M. Bison McMahon came back though for that sale, that merger, to have a strong front because he's friends with the guy who owns the Embracer Group of of WWE and all that. Like, the Embracer Group's the one that bought all the video games. But I feel like he's putting on a front for them to make sure, I'm still in control. Triple H is running the show. I have a feeling all the backlash that fans have done will do a positive, and they're going to allow Triple H to keep going. Vince has some say, unfortunately. I hope I'm right, because I don't want it to go back. I'm just not going to watch.
Said he was the board of directors. They said he was the board of directors now, but
Sure.
Nick Khan is the president. So the Khans, basically on both sides, they're brothers with Tony Khan. So it's funny that both Khans are running both wrestling organizations now.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of AEW, by the way. I've been following Being the Elite back when they were still in the Bullet Club, when they started All In. With Cody, when Dave Meltzer bet him that they couldn't sell out a venue, and Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega made him eat. I still feel like the CM Punk things will work. I feel like there's a lot of personal stuff to it. I still feel like CM Punk's going to come back after his injury's done, which would be amazing that they did a long work like that. But enough pro wrestling talk. That shit's fun. I'm a big fan. I watch a lot of the recaps, though. So I'll just not watch WWE if it goes back to how it was back in the day. It's very interesting the last year. So let's see. You don't watch it all, Tristan?
I just have no. I used to watch back in the 90s, like, religiously. So I really only have one thing to add, and it's in complete agreement with you guys. I mean, like, instant gratification is a thing that everyone wants.
Yes, they
but,
do.
But there's a reason why Rocky 2 is the best Rocky movie. He lost in the first one. He lost.
Yes, he
but
did.
It made number 2 and his victory so much better.
Mm-hmm. So I would almost say, Tristan, that Premium is the Rocky 2 of video game publishers as well. Like we're
Damn straight.
slow. We're the slow company. We're not looking for instant because that's the thing with games. You notice people are like, well, you got next. What do you got next? We got a new game. We got a new game. Like we don't do the instant gratification. We're gonna do a direct like every quarter, maybe every half a year now. Like we're slow rolling things. Like same thing with wrestling. You gotta let the story play out. Like we're not in a hurry.
It makes the games that more important, that more memorable, and that more enjoyable.
And it'll make Cody Rhodes, when he gets his payoff, which I hope he does, that much sweeter. I just hope nobody gets injured or fired in the time frame. Something crazy happens out of the control because he really, it would be amazing seeing the payoff for that story. Love it. And the thing is, that's why I know that I still enjoy wrestling, because that story made me care. And I've been following that dude since he left WWE. And I watched him win the NWA title. That was amazing. That was awesome. Watched him fight his brother. That was amazing. But I'd say let's bid you adieu. Oh, I just did a Kenny Omega. So what do we got going on this next week? Anything crazy?
Well, immediately we've got the Premium Edition Direct tomorrow night.
Yes,
forgive me, I forget what time, so you're gonna have to remind me.
It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in conjunction with our Twitch stream that Frank does every week. So we'll do the Premium Direct on Premium Edition Games' YouTube, and then it'll transition to our Twitch channel that's also linked there. And then we'll be doing like a live Q&A type deal with the other team members that aren't podcasting at midnight on Tuesday.
Good deal.
And it'll be fun. The week after, we should have something maybe for pre-order, something new. It's not on the website yet because I haven't created it, because I don't create anything on the website to give any hints until Direct drops, and then I'll start creating some stuff. So tomorrow I'll be creating things. But yeah, there should be something available potentially soon. We did talk about the ore body pre-orders. That was pretty awesome. That went up, so that thing was going on. The rest of the stuff for this week, Pogling's Kickstarter, it's freaking crushing it.
It's currently sitting at $146,930, and it's not even the end of day one. Not even close.
Insane. The NES Kickstarter's still going. Got 2 weeks left to back the complete NES. After that's done in 2 weeks, I'm going to gather up stories from everyone who's contributing. And then I will start integrating the story portion into the book and then push it for print. I'm going to be working on it on a Switch kiosk, so it'll be super meta. Working on a Nintendo book on a Nintendo kiosk. But I'll be doing that. So appreciate all the support with that. Outside of that, though, I think we're just going to be hanging, chilling.
Yes, sir.
Working on new stuff. I know you and I are going to be working on finalization of some art. Classics. Anything else to say before we head out?
Nope, it's been a pleasure as always, and again, thank you for the experience of the best convention I've been to.
It's our home convention. That's Premium's home convention. They take care of us. Go there every year. I'm going to try to fly in next year. We'll see if I can get some plane tickets that don't cost me an arm and a leg. It'll be fun, though. Anything else, Coffin?
I just want to thank you guys for one, giving me an insight into the convention. That was really great. If you want to follow me, I'm at GI Gamer 1981 on Facebook. I do short videos. I try to help collectors out with knowledge stuff that I kind of send out reels, videos, and type of things like that. just try to make it fun. I try to make it kind of old school. You know, I'm big on opening your games. I know there's a lot of seal collectors out there, so I apologize, but I want to thank you guys for having me on. I definitely appreciate this.
Oh, and by the way, I'm on Facebook again. Ooh, I didn't talk about that.
Back.
I didn't talk about that. So I am on Facebook again. I haven't been on there. I had a lot of people asking me if I was hacked or something. It's like, yeah, like last summer. And I just created a new account finally. I was tired of being off. Been a lot of people. I'm only adding people I know. We talked about that I think last week, or 2 weeks ago. But like, I'm only adding people I know. So if I know you, add me. That means if we know each other online, that's cool. But as always, appreciate everybody listening. We only had a couple people chatting, but we recorded later tonight, so kind of goes with it until people realize what time we're recording at.
Yeah.
But appreciate everybody, and we will see you next week. Hopefully, we should be going.
Sweet.